Chapter 923. Xiao Qian withdrew the Big Dipper banner into his sea of consciousness. Then, he said sullenly, "This bit of ability is not enough to kill me. Demonic brilliant two elders, I, Xiao Qian, will remember you. The mountains will not change, the rivers will flow forever. In the future, I will definitely take your head." Great Sun Incantation, burning the void. The magic energy in Xiao Qian's sea of consciousness, which had already tripled in size, suddenly burned and drained. The blazing sun suddenly appeared in the night sky, turning into an ancient, yang character as it soared into the sky. Boom! The flames of the sun spread out in the air, clashing with the towering flaming tornado and the 100,000 bloody soldiers in the air. Surging shock waves covered the sky and the sun. The tall mountains for 50 kilometers around were instantly flattened. All sorts of lights bloomed in the air like fireworks, lasting for a long time. When everything calmed down, Xiao Qian was nowhere to be seen. The hemp-robed old man and the middle-aged man were stunned. After a long time, they put away their king-grade secret treasures. Mr. Qin died before our eyes. We will not be able to give an explanation to the Medicine God Valley. The middle-aged man retorted angrily, "What explanation? If we go, we will definitely be beaten to death. I just feel heartache." The primal essence nature pill that Mr. Qin promised us ended up with this brat. That is a king-grade medicinal pill that can increase one's cultivation by 60 years. The hemp-robed old man sighed and said, "This time, I suffered a great loss. Let's not care about this brat. Let's quickly go to the heavenly ruin wasteland and see if we can make up for our losses." How unlucky. If we had not agreed to Mr. Qin's request, we might have already gained a lot in the heavenly ruin wasteland. That might not be the case. The heavenly ruin wasteland has an immortal sect remnant buried there. It is a supreme sect of the immortal epoch. Even the blue-robed emperor would enter. We are just minor characters there. After running for hundreds of kilometers, Xiao Qian stopped in front of a majestic and imposing city. The words Zhugu were written on the city gates. This was one of the largest cities in the primal chaos domain. There were countless cultivators in the city, and it was very complicated. Martial sage experts could be seen everywhere. Xiao Qian pondered for a while. There were many people who wanted to kill him now. Rather than hiding outside, it was better to cultivate in this city for a while. Then, he rushed to Zhongzhou Bushan Palace to participate in the king-conferring ceremony. If Xiao Qian relied on the huge flow of people to hide, he would be like a drop in the ocean. Even if a major character knew divination, it would not be easy for them to find him. After putting on the heavenly sea cloak, Xiao Qian headed straight for the city gate. He walked into the city as if he was heir. Xiao Qian paid the astral coins and reserved a superior room at a nearby inn. Only now did Xiao Qian let out a sigh of relief. He was temporarily safe. He sat cross-legged on the bed and began to recover from his injuries. The middle-aged man's army-killing fist was boundlessly tyrannical. His blood qi soared into the sky. There was always a surge of energy that could not be eliminated from the internal injuries, causing the injuries to be unable to heal automatically. Now that Xiao Qian had calmed down, it was time to get rid of this scarlet energy. This energy was harder to get rid of than Xiao Qian had expected. After the scarlet energy pierced into his internal organs for a short period of time, it became deeply rooted and extremely difficult to get rid of. Xiao Qian only managed to recover after 3 days. A light flashed in his eyes as he quickly checked Mr. Qin's spatial ring. Indeed, the heavenly secret divination disc floated quietly in the ring. After fiddling with the heavenly secret divination disc for a while, Xiao Qian thought to himself, "After killing Mr. Qin this time, I have thoroughly offended the Medicine God Valley. This will be a huge problem in the future." The Medicine God Valley was a peak faction of the Profound Domain. They were much stronger than the Heaven and Earth sect. In terms of overall strength, they were no weaker than the Haotian sect. "Hey, what is this?" Xiao Chen's spiritual sense was attracted by a jade bottle in the spatial ring, interrupting his thoughts. That jade bottle gave off a spiritual light. It was transparent and overflowed with light. Unexpectedly, it could not block out the spiritual light of the medicinal pill inside. What medicinal pill is this for its spiritual light to be so intense? The spiritual light was too intense, so much so that Xiao Chen did not dare to take it out. He got off the bed and went to the cultivation room in the room before carefully taking out the jade bottle. This was an inn specially prepared for cultivators. Normally, the best rooms would have similar cultivation rooms that could isolate the spiritual energy fluctuations generated by cultivation. The crystalline jade bottle was transparent. Spiritual energy spread out and turned into dragons swimming around the room, moving through the clouds of spiritual energy. Xiao Chen opened his mouth and sucked in several dragon-shaped spiritual energy strands. Xiao Chen's body immediately felt very comfortable. The purple heavenly laws around his dantian churned. After absorbing this spiritual energy, he felt extremely satisfied. Bang! 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 10 brand new heavenly sage laws appeared. They were as thick as a finger, but they gave off a dense purple light and flickered with sparks. Xiao Chen was startled. What exactly is this medicinal pill? Spiritual energy turned into dragons. Just one breath and my cultivation increased by a small amount. What would happen if I swallowed the entire medicinal pill? Xiao Chen's cultivation was different from that of ordinary people. Without a fortuitous encounter, he would have needed at least a month to raise his cultivation. Looking at the jade bottle, Xiao Chen's eyes lit up with excitement. He had not expected Mr. Qin to have such a medicinal pill. If Xiao Chen guessed right, this should be the reward for the demonic brilliant 2 elders. It was an extremely precious king-grade medicinal pill that could raise a cultivator's cultivation. Good. What I lack now is cultivation. Mr. Qin, oh Mr. Qin, you are really providing me with timely assistance. Xiao Chen opened the bottle cap and was about to consume the medicinal pill. Who knew? A beam of dim light shot out the instant he opened the bottle cap and headed for the door. Bang! The dim light crashed into the restrictions on the wall, causing Xiao Chen to groan in pain. That was a thumb-sized medicinal pill with a small face on it. It had eyes, a mouth, but no nose. Small hands and feet even grew out of the medicinal pill, rubbing its head in pain. It looked extremely cute. A pill spirit? In the past, Xiao Chen had heard of stories of medicinal pills gaining spirituality. Unexpectedly, he saw it for himself. Fortunately, this pill spirit was not strong. Xiao Chen had the foresight to open the jade bottle in the cultivation room. Otherwise, it would have flown away. Come back! Xiao Chen stretched out his hand and grabbed. A strong suction pulled the medicinal pill into his palm. The tiny pill spirit stood pitifully on Xiao Chen's palm, crying out pitifully. It looked extremely aggrieved, making it hard to swallow. Xiao Chen remained unmoved. He said, "Don't feel aggrieved. Medicinal pills are refined for others to eat." Before Xiao Chen could finish speaking, the pitiful little pill spirit shook its head and swelled to the size of a watermelon. Then, it opened its ferocious mouth and tried to chew on Xiao Chen's head. After swallowing you, you idiot, I will truly become a pill spirit. This broken house will not be able to trap me anymore. The pill spirit laughed sinisterly. A pill spirit eating its master. Xiao Chen's expression did not change. He threw a palm strike and law energy surged out. Electricity flickered and this pill spirit cried out miserably. A smooth medicinal pill appeared before Xiao Chen. He could even see a clump of primal chaos chi swimming around in the medicinal pill. This medicinal pill gained spirituality. Now, Xiao Chen was certain that the medicinal pill in his hand was a king-grade medicinal pill. However, he had only refined it for a short time, so this pill spirit did not have much growth yet. Otherwise, it would not be so easy to deal with. Xiao Chen opened his mouth and swallowed this primal essence nature pill without hesitation. Then, he circulated the purple thunder divine incantation and frantically swallowed the primal essence nature pill. Beams of purple light shot out from his body. The 3,000 strands of black light all turned crystalline purple. The entire room was filled with a sea of electricity. All sorts of mutated beasts appeared in the sea, roaring at the sky. The medicinal energy of this pill made Xiao Chen feel incredibly carefree. All along, he had been like a child who could not eat his fill. The surrounding spiritual energy could not satisfy him at all. After swallowing this pill, his bones, flesh, and heavenly sage laws all felt extremely satisfied. After refining for 3 days, Xiao Chen opened his eyes, feeling like he had not had enough. His purple hair had not completely faded yet, making him look sinister. In 3 days, Xiao Chen's cultivation had risen from early-stage medial-grade martial sage to middle-stage medial-grade martial sage. Xiao Chen licked his lips. This medicinal pill was really good stuff. Unfortunately, there was only one. If he had another 8 or 10, he might have been able to push his cultivation to superior-grade martial sage. Then, he would be able to fight a Grandmaster-level martial sage head-on. However, this was already pretty good. With his current cultivation, he no longer had to be so passive when facing the demonic brilliant 2 elders, unable to resist at all. After standing up and leaving, Xiao Chen muttered to himself for a while before putting on a scarlet cloak. This was a sage-grade secret treasure from the hemp-robed old man's collection. It had the effect of increasing one's speed. A scarlet light flowed around the cloak, fluttering about. This scarlet cloak looked very cool. Then, Xiao Chen turned the blue Neptune headscarf into red and tied it around his forehead, matching his purple hair. Xiao Chen's aura immediately changed. He now looked like an elite disciple of an evil sect, exuding an evil aura. Unless one was very close to him, it would be hard for others to connect him to Xiao Chen. Xiao Chen's purple hair toppled many people's opinions. A folding fan appeared in Xiao Chen's hand. After sizing up his current attire, he smiled faintly and walked out. In the bustling inn, Xiao Chen ordered some food and wine as he listened to the conversations of the various cultivators. There were many people from all walks of life in the inn. He could hear the latest news of the primal chaos domain here. Did you hear? The profound domain's demonic brilliant 2 elders suffered at the hands of the white-robed Xiao Chen. They were invited by Mr. Qin to kill Xiao Chen. Who could have imagined that Xiao Chen would kill Mr. Qin and swagger off? The demonic brilliant 2 elders are not ordinary Grandmaster-level martial sages. They have been famous for many years. They have lived for 400 or 500 years, and their cultivations are ridiculously deep. They can kill a regular superior-grade martial sage with one punch. This Xiao Chen is really bold. I heard that he even killed the disciples of all the big sects in the primal chaos domain. Now, several sects have already started to hunt him down. How unfortunate! The experts of my primal chaos domain are all rushing to the heavenly ruin wasteland. This Xiao Chen will be free and unfettered for a while. When Xiao Chen heard this, he felt excited. No wonder the demonic brilliant 2 elders are so strong. Turns out that they have lived for 400 or 500 years. It is only natural that their cultivations far surpass mine. However, what is this heavenly ruin wasteland? To think that it would attract so many experts of the primal chaos domain. Curiosity stirred in Xiao Chen's heart. He raised his hand to that eloquent, skinny man and said, "This brother, would you like to come over and have a drink?" The skinny man was in the middle of speaking when he was interrupted. He was displeased, but when he turned to look, he saw that someone had interrupted him. However, when he looked over, he saw that Xiao Chen was covered in secret treasures and had an overwhelming evil aura. Chapter 924. He walked over with a smile and performed a cupped fist salute. How should I address this brother? I am Xing Qinyun, a rank 1 loose cultivator from the primal chaos domain. Yi Chun from the heavenly starry ocean's northern sea alliance. I was invited by Di Wuk to discuss the Heroes Convention and to meet Xiao Qin at the same time. I want to see how capable he is to dare to kill someone under the nose of a martial emperor. Xiao Qin's expression did not change as he spoke nonsense. No one could make out any flaws. So, it is the Northern Sea Alliance's young Master Yi. I misjudged you. When Xing Qingyun heard that Xiao Qin came from the Northern Sea Alliance, a peak sect of the heavenly starry ocean, and that he even received an invitation from Di Wuk, he quickly felt deep veneration for Xiao Qin. I heard that Di Wuk has already arrived in the primal chaos domain and met with the top true inheritors of the Frost Moon Palace and the Heavenly Music sect. Now, they are heading to the Heavenly Ruin Wasteland together. Di Wuk also came to the primal chaos domain. It looked like he had put in a lot of effort for the sake of the Heroes Convention. Xiao Qin revealed a doubtful expression. He said, "This is my first time in the primal chaos domain. Recently, I kept hearing about the Heavenly Ruin Wasteland. Since Brother Xing is so knowledgeable, can you explain it to me?" Xing Qingyun felt very pleased with Xiao Qin's flattery. He smiled and said, "You really asked the right person. The Heavenly Ruin Wasteland is a land of fortuitous encounters in the primal chaos domain. Occasionally, all sorts of remnants appear there. This time, someone actually discovered a large immortal sect, attracting the attention of many experts. Even the blue-robed emperor made a move." Xiao Qin felt enlightened. It looked like the Heavenly Ruin Wasteland was a place similar to the savage battlefield. I heard that young Master Yi wants to kill Xiao Qin?" Xing Qingyun said hesitantly. Naturally, Xiao Qin could not kill himself. However, to deceive others, he had to put on a convincing act. He asked coldly, "What's wrong? Do you think I'm not that strong?" Xing Qingyun smiled and said, "I'll be honest. Young Master Yi is not weak. However, it is far from enough to kill Xiao Qin. You should know that even the demonic brilliant two elders could not stop him." Xiao Qin saw that there was a hidden meaning in his words and directly said, "If you have something to say, just say it. In that case, I will be direct. Some of the disciples of the Frost Moon Palace and the Heavenly Sound sect have formed a king-killing alliance. I feel that if young Master Yi joins them, you will have a higher chance of killing Xiao Qin." "Kill the king? What king?" "Naturally, it's the white-robed king, Xiao Qin. This fellow has yet to obtain the title of Blue Dragon King, but the title of the white-robed king has already spread. There's no problem with calling him the white-robed king." "King-killing alliance?" A thought occurred to Xiao Qin. He asked, "Brother Xing, how do you know Xiao Qin's location? Could it be that you are trying to hunt down the Haotian sect by forming the king-killing alliance so suddenly?" Xing Qingyun smiled and said, "Naturally not. Given Xiao Qin's character, given the appearance of an immortal sect remnant in the Heavenly Ruin Wasteland, he will definitely go. Our alliance's people have been guarding the entrance. We will catch him sooner or later." Xiao Qin sighed softly. "This is really a coincidence. I managed to avoid some trouble. I wonder who the people forming the king-killing alliance are? True experts should disdain forming alliances." Suddenly, a plan appeared in Xiao Qin's mind. Right now, there were many people who wanted to kill him. He might as well stir up trouble. "How about it, Brother Yi? Join our king-killing alliance," Xing Qingyun said with anticipation. Xiao Qin swung the folding fan in his hand and revealed a proud expression. He smiled coldly and said, "Brother Xing, are you looking down on me? With my strength, do I need to join someone else's king-killing alliance? To hunt down just one Xiao Qin, I also need to form an alliance. This king-killing alliance is just SOSO in my opinion." Xing Qingyun's expression changed drastically. He forced a smile and said, "Then, I have something to do, so I will leave first. I wish young Master Yi good luck." Xiao Qin placed his hand on Xing Qingyun's shoulder. Then, he smiled with narrowed eyes. "Brother Xing, what are you planning to do?" "I just got excited and decided to form a demon-slaying alliance to hunt down Xiao Qin. I will appoint you as the alliance chief. Xing Qingyun felt a strong energy enter his body, able to shred his meridians and internal organs at any moment. The hand that Xiao Chun placed on Xing Qingyun's shoulder was like the hand of the Grim Reaper. As long as Xiao Chun made any strange movements, he would instantly die. I am weak. I really cannot shoulder such a heavy responsibility, Xing Qingyun said, his voice trembling. There were many major characters in the King-Killing Alliance. Several outstanding talents of the Frost Moon Palace and the Heavenly Music Sect were there, as well as some famous loose cultivators. If Xing Qingyun joined this demon-slaying alliance, he would be slapping their faces. He would not have a good time. What's wrong, Brother Xing? Are you looking down on me? Xiao Chen's expression turned cold as he gently patted Xing Qingyun's shoulder twice. Xing Qingyun's heart thumped heavily as he showed a sullen expression. How could he dare to say no? What an unexpected calamity! An unexpected calamity! Originally, Xing Qingyun wanted to recruit an expert to raise his position in the alliance. Unexpectedly, he ended up offending such a fearless master. Xiao Chun smiled faintly. Together with his head of purple hair and scarlet headscarf, he looked as sinister as one could imagine. That's right. Let's go. Bring me to the heavenly ruin wasteland. We will go there to kill demons as well, to kill the white-robed demon Xiao Chun. Follow me and become famous. Xing Qingyun, why are you still here? The last batch of people in the alliance is about to set off. Now you are the only one left. Dong, dong, dong. Footsteps came from the inn. A group of cultivators with extraordinary cultivations arrived. The leader of this group spoke anxiously to Xing Qingyun. Xing Qingyun was about to answer when Xiao Chun stopped him. He smiled and said, "Everyone, please return. Xing Qingyun is now the alliance chief of my demon-slaying alliance. He has nothing to do with your king-killing alliance. You are seeking death. Where did you come from? How dare you poach the people of our king-killing alliance? I think you are Xiao Chen's accomplice." When the leader of this group saw that Xiao Chen was only a medial-grade martial sage, he could not be bothered to speak with him. He stepped forward and sent a palm strike at Xiao Chen. When this person sent out the palm strike, a cold palace rose up behind him. A cold moon hung high in the distance. This person was actually an outstanding disciple of the Frost Moon Palace. Someone in the surroundings recognized this person and whispered, "That is the Frost Moon Palace's Xiang Xiaoyu. He is one of the top elites of the Frost Moon Palace. This young Master Yi of the Northern Sea Alliance is probably going to suffer." Xiao Chen smiled and said, "Good timing. I will take your head and spread the name of our demon-slaying alliance." Xiao Chen did not use any martial techniques. He only relied on his cultivation. He leaped up and clashed with a palm strike. His body gave off a bright purple light, and clumps of electricity flickered. There was a berserk sound of thunder in the inn, causing the floors to tremble. Bang! Crisp sounds rang out continuously. That palace and the cold moon shattered one by one. Xiang Xiaoyu vomited a mouthful of blood and fell miserably to the ground. A horrified expression appeared in his eyes. The others in the inn were shocked as well. Unexpectedly, Yi Chen defeated Xiang Xiaoyu in one move. This Yi Chen really had a great background. Let's go. You offended our king-killing alliance. There is no place for you in this primal chaos domain. Also, Xing Qingyun, you are very courageous. You are a traitor, Xiang Xiaoyu said ruthlessly as he climbed to his feet. Then, he led a group of people away. Leave? Our alliance chief did not say anything. Do you think you can leave just like that? Xiao Chen pushed off the ground and opened the folding fan in his hand. In a flash, he arrived before Xiang Xiaoyu. Electricity burst out of the folding fan, and he knocked Xiang Xiaoyu back in a few moves. Xiao Chen did not let the others off, either, knocking them to the ground one by one. Xiao Chen's scarlet cloak fluttered behind him as he fanned himself. Then, he smiled and said, "Alliance Chief Xing, How to deal with these people will be up to you. Xing Qingyun had a sullen expression as he complained bitterly in his heart. These people are finished. I will not be able to survive in the primal chaos domain in the future. Young Master Yi, I think we should let these people go. Xiao Chen closed his folding fan and smiled. Since the Alliance Chief has spoken, I will let you all go. Leave behind your spatial rings, and you can scram. Xiang Xiaoyu took the lead and tossed aside the spatial rings. Then, he said to Xing Qingyun, you are dead for sure. How dare you betray us and oppose our king-killing alliance? From today on, there is no place for you in the primal chaos domain. The others left behind their spatial rings and glared at Xing Qingyun hatefully before quickly leaving this place. Xiao Chen picked up the spatial rings on the ground and gave half to Xing Qingyun. Then, he performed a cupped fist salute to the people in the inn and said, "The demon-slaying alliance is officially established today. The alliance chief said that when we see the people of the king-killing alliance, we have to beat them up like dogs." Whoosh! Xiao Chen grabbed Xing Qingyun and leaped out of the inn. Then, he smiled and said, "Brother Xing, how did it feel earlier? From today on, your name will definitely spread throughout the entire primal chaos domain." Xing Qingyun smiled bitterly. Now, even if he jumped into the Yellow River, he would not be able to clear his name. However, he opened the spatial rings in his hand. When Xing Qingyun saw that he had obtained a large sum of wealth so easily, his heart pounded heavily. "Come, bring me to the heavenly ruin wasteland." Xing Qingyun helplessly led Xiao Chen to the heavenly ruin wasteland. Along the way, Xiao Chen met with the people of the king-killing alliance. They did not show any mercy at all, and Xiao Chen killed all of them. 3 days later, the entrance to the heavenly ruin wasteland appeared in the distance. A primal chaos whirlpool floated in the air. With a quick glance, one could see a multicolored light filling the sky behind the whirlpool. However, there were even more black flames that were blowing non-stop, making whooshing noises that struck fear into the hearts of those who looked at them. Xing Qingyun explained, "Young Master Yi, the entrance is in front. However, dark demonic flames spread for 50 kilometers in there. If you enter rashly, you will be burned to ashes. Of course, that is a different story if you are as strong as the blue-robed emperor." Xiao Chen had heard of the dark demonic flames before. This was a kind of flame from the deep abyss demonic world, a type of inattributed flame. However, it was not as difficult as other flames. Even Grandmaster-level martial sages would find it hard to deal with it. Xiao Chen frowned and said, "There should be a way to enter, right?" Xing Qingyun's mood improved slightly. He smiled and said, "Naturally there is. Every evening, when the sun sets, the might of the dark demonic flames will be at their lowest. As long as one's cultivation is sufficient, one can slowly endure it. Alternatively, if you are fast enough, you can fly 50 kilometers in one breath. At that time, the dark demonic flames will not be able to catch up to you." Xiao Chen entered deep thought, considering which method he could use to enter. Since an immortal sect remnant had appeared in the heavenly ruin wasteland, naturally, he wanted to enter as well. When others obtained magic treasures, they needed to reforge them into secret treasures before they could use them. However, Xiao Chen could use them as he pleased. Even if he could not break them down into divine materials, he could use them to cultivate the blue dragon body nourishing art. Chapter 925. A few factions gathered in the sky at the entrance of the heavenly ruin wasteland. Xing Qingyun pointed to one of them, feeling somewhat depressed. He said, "That is the king-killing alliance. The one standing in the palace is the Frost Moon Palace's Yun Tianhe. He is second only to the top true inheritor of the Frost Moon Palace, Lu Jing. There are many white-clad women around him. The one with a set of bells in front of him is the heavenly music sect's Gao Baiyu. He is also the second strongest person of the younger generation in the sect. The king-killing alliance is made up of these two people." Xiao Chen took a look and discovered that there were indeed many experts among them. There was even a Grandmaster-level martial sage old man behind Yun Tianhe and Lu Jing. However, Xiao Chen could sense that these three were all Grandmaster-level martial sages. Xing Qingyun, you are really bold. We pulled you into the king-killing alliance, and yet you still dare to betray us and bite back at us. When Yun Tianhe saw Xiao Chen and Xing Qingyun rushing over from the cold palace, he led a group of people from the king-killing alliance to block the two. Xing Qingyun felt like crying. He really wanted to explain. However, he had already killed so many of the other party's people. There was no way to explain. Either way, he would die. Xing Qinghe threw caution to the wind and shouted, "What dog-fart king-killing alliance? You have to gather so many people just to kill Xiao Chen. Before our demon-slaying alliance, you are nothing." Yun Tianhe felt stifled. Unexpectedly, an unremarkable person from 3 days ago actually dared to shout at him. "Senior brother Yun, this brat is reckless. I'll help you take his head." A figure leaped out, and a horrifying aura soared into the clouds, kicking up strong winds in the surroundings. The newcomer was an outstanding young superior-grade martial sage, much stronger than Xing Qingyun's. "How dare a nobody like you speak to our alliance chief?" Scram! Xiao Chen remained expressionless as he blocked the front and punched. After consuming the primal essence nature pill, although Xiao Chen was only a middle-stage medial-grade martial sage now, he would not fear fighting a Grandmaster-level martial sage. When he punched out, the sound of thunder rang out continuously. The newcomer was sent flying and coughed up blood. As Yun Tianhe stood above the palace, a cold moon rose into the sky, and the air suddenly turned cold. He looked at Xiao Chen, who had purple hair and a blood-like cloak fluttering in the wind. He frowned and asked, "Who exactly are you? Why are you making things difficult for us?" Xiao Chen opened his folding fan and stood upright in the air. He smiled and said, "I will never change my name or surname. I am Xiao Chen of the Heavenly Starry Ocean's Northern Sea Alliance." Yi Chen. The bloody young master Yi Chen. The Frost Moon Palace's Yun Tianhe and the Heavenly Music Sect's Gao Baiyu revealed shocked expressions, turning grave. When Xiao Chen saw the two's expressions, he could not help but think, bloody young master Yi Chen, could there really be someone in the Northern Sea Alliance called Yi Chen? I really made up this name. Xing Qingyun observed the two's expressions and felt that this Yi Chen seemed to have a great background. He laughed loudly and said, "Yun Tianhe Gao Baiyu, the king-killing alliance is no longer as mighty as before. Now, our demon-slaying alliance is very popular. Xiao Chen will only die at our hands." Yun Tianhe and Gao Baiyu exchanged glances. Then, they turned their heads and said in a condescending tone, "The fame of the Northern Sea Alliance's 4 young masters is very resounding. However, in our primal chaos domain, you have not reached the point where you can do as you please without fear. Yi Chen, you killed the people of our king-killing alliance. You have to give us an explanation. Otherwise, no matter how great your background is, you can forget about entering this heavenly ruin wasteland." Xiao Chen found it funny. To think that a random name could have the same name. Xiao Chen's luck is really good. As for the real brother Yi Chen, I can only apologize. However, in any case, the other party is very far away. No matter what, there will be some connection. Xiao Chen can use the other party's name to do as he pleases. Apologize to you and ask our alliance chief if he agrees. Alliance Chief Xing, do you agree? Xiao Chen said as he turned his head to Xing Qingyun. Along the way, Xing Qingyun had killed people and snatched their treasures. He had shared many of the benefits with Xing Qingyun. Now, Xing Qingyun realized that Xiao Chen had a great background. Xing Qingyun felt very confident. He said in a tyrannical manner, "Apologize? Our demon-slaying alliance will definitely hunt down Xiao Chen and become famous. How can we apologize? You are the ones who should apologize for being disrespectful to our demon-slaying alliance." There were many people in the king-killing alliance. A rough count would be no less than 200, with some experts among them. When they saw that Xing Qingyun, who was originally a weakling, was so arrogant, they felt enraged in their hearts. Young Master Yun, young Master Gao, we have never heard of this Yi Chen before. Why bother wasting time with him? Just kill him. Right, kill them. Otherwise, others will look down on our king-killing alliance. Yun Tianhe and Gao Baiyu remained silent, unable to make up their minds. Most people might not have heard of the bloody young master, but that did not mean that these two had not. The bloody young master was an outstanding talent of the heavenly starry ocean's younger generation. He was strong enough to compete with the top true inheritors of the Frost Moon Palace and the heavenly music sect, perhaps even stronger. Rumor had it that the bloody young master was temperamental, alternating between good and evil. His strength was extraordinary. This Xiao Chen fit the rumors. Xiao Chen swept his gaze around and stared at the person who shouted the loudest. He smiled and said, "All of you are boasting shamelessly. To think that you dare to spout nonsense before our demon-slaying alliance." A light flashed. Xiao Chen held a folding fan in his hand, and the scarlet cloak behind him fluttered in the wind. He looked like a scarlet beam of light, moving about without a trace. When Xiao Chen returned, he held a head in his hand. It was the head of the person who shouted the loudest. When Xing Qingyun saw the situation, he became even bolder. He took the head from Xiao Chen's hand and exploded it. He shouted, "This is the result of opposing our demon-slaying alliance." Xiao Chen's earlier actions were extremely fast. Less than 10 people could see his movements clearly. The only ones who could stop him were the two old men behind Yun Tianhe and Gao Baiyu. However, without their orders, these two old men would not make a move. Xiao Chen killed one of them with the raise of his hand. The cultivators of the king-killing alliance could not help but feel horrified. When Yun Tianhe and Gao Baiyu saw the situation, they quickly gestured. The two Grandmaster-level martial sages behind them quickly leaped out, giving off an aura that could shake mountains and rivers as they flew over. The two old men threw a slap at the same time, wanting to send the two old men flying at the same time, thoroughly smashing away the arrogance of Xiao Chen and Xing Qingyun. Pa! Xing Qingyun could not retaliate and got sent flying. Xiao Chen dodged in advance and grabbed the falling Xing Qingyun. He smiled and said, "Alliance Chief, are you all right?" Sob. Sob. "My face is swollen from the slap." "It hurts," Xing Qingyun said pitifully, his right cheek swollen. He could not speak clearly. Xiao Chen carried Xing Qingyun and dodged the attacks of the two Grandmaster-level martial sages again. He smiled and said, "The two of you are dead for sure. You even dare to slap our alliance chief, Xing Qingyun. No one in this world can save you." What a joke! What can an insignificant inferior-grade martial sage do to us? Today, I will slap you, the dog's hit alliance chief, to death right in front of you. The old man from the Frost Moon Palace said coldly. Xing Qingyun was so anxious that he nearly cried. He said, "Young Master Yi, please stop." Xiao Chen carried Xing Qingyun and easily dodged the attacks of the two. He smiled and said, "Don't be afraid. With me, the bloody young Master Yi Chen, protecting you, no one will dare to touch you." The bloody young Master Yi Chen? What a great reputation! You said not to touch him, but I will. The old man from the heavenly music sect held a jade flute in his hand. His attacks could not help turning sharper as he charged at Xing Qingyun. Xing Qingyun already despaired. Under the pressure of the two Grandmaster-level martial sages, he felt like his heart would jump out at any moment. Ha ha! Just a bunch of dancing clowns. To think that they are not embarrassed to form the king-slaying alliance. How laughable! Just at this moment, a mocking voice came from the distance. A white figure holding a long saber approached from afar, quickly heading for the heavenly ruin wasteland. White-robed Xiao Chen. Suddenly, someone cried out when they saw the two old men attacking Xiao Chen and Xing Qingyun. The two old men paused, and a light flashed in their eyes. Then, they charged at the white figure at lightning speed. It really is the white-robed Shao Chen. What a strong saber chi! His killing intent is also horrifying. The people of the dragon-slaying alliance were all startled. Then, they suddenly reacted and charged at the white-robed figure. They executed all sorts of methods, either strong martial techniques or strong secret treasures, causing the winds and clouds to change color as they descended from the sky. That was not all. The experts hiding in the surroundings all leaped out at this moment. Shao Chen's lips twitched as he counted. There were at least 10 Grandmaster-level martial sages who leaped out. If Shao Chen had not hidden himself and headed for the heavenly ruin wasteland, he might not even have known how he died. Xing Qingyun covered his face and felt flabbergasted. Damn it! This Shao Chen is really incredible. Unexpectedly, there are so many Grandmaster-level martial sages hiding there to kill him. Shao Chen fanned himself and smiled. Haha! Alliance Chief Xing, you are not too bad yourself. Earlier, there were 2 Grandmaster-level martial sages, but they could not do anything to you. Xing Qingyun rubbed his face and forced a smile. It's just SOSO. After all, I am the Alliance Chief of the Demon-Slaying Alliance. In the future, I will personally kill the white-robed Shao Chen and become famous. It is already dusk, and Shao Chen has entered the heavenly ruin wasteland. Young Master Yi, should we go in? Shao Chen nodded. He was rather interested in that white-robed person from earlier. He wanted to know whether the other party was dead or alive. Xing Qingyun took out a warship and carried the two to the primal chaos whirlpool in the air, heading for the entrance to the heavenly ruin wasteland. Many mutated beasts were carved on both sides of the warship. An ancient demonic energy cannon was mounted on the bow, the only sage-grade secret treasure that Xing Qingyun could take out. The instant the warship entered the entrance, it immediately sank into a sea of black demonic flame. The demonic flame howled endlessly. Occasionally, horrifying ghostly faces flashed by. Those were the mutated evil spirits of the demonic flame. They could even swallow up Grandmaster-level martial sages. However, it would be very difficult to run into them. Brother Yi, we need to walk out of this 50 kilometers of demonic flame within 15 minutes. Otherwise, the sun will set in the west. When the might of this demonic flame returns to normal, my warship will not be able to block it. Xing Qingyun propped up the protective barrier of the warship. He did not appear to be in too much of a rush. As long as they did not run into any unexpected situations, they would not have any problems crossing the 50 kilometers of demonic flame within 15 minutes. Chapter 926. What a coincidence to run into the two of you here. It looks like the heavens want you dead. Just as Xing Qingyun thought this, an old man walked out of the surging demonic flame. This was the Grandmaster-level martial sage of the Frost Moon Palace. This old man did not rely on any external items to move freely in this demonic flame. He relied on his own cultivation to move about freely. Xing Qingyun's face turned the color of a pig's liver. He felt extremely depressed in his heart. He smiled bitterly and said, "Senior, why are you not chasing after that white-robed Shao Chen? Why are you seeking trouble with us? That brat runs very fast. After killing many of our people, we still let him slip away. However, you are not that lucky. Alliance Chief Xing, this old man said that I will slap you to death, so I will keep my word." The Frost Moon Palace's old man parted the flames and approached the warship with malicious intent. Xing Qingyun paled slightly. He forced a smile and said, "Senior, you must be joking. It's enough to make such a joke once." As the Frost Moon Palace's old man walked over, the demonic flame in front of him parted automatically. He smiled sinisterly and said, "Look at me. Do I look like I'm joking?" Shao Chen smiled faintly and said, "Alliance Chief Xing, you are going to kill white-robed Shao Chen. You will definitely become famous. Why are you so frightened by a Grandmaster-level martial sage? Go up and beat him up." My legs are weak. Big brother Yi, go up. I'll hold the line for you. Xing Qingyun trembled as he moved back. What are you afraid of? Charge forward bravely. Xiao Chen pushed gently, and a huge force pushed Xing Qingyun out of the warship. Then, Xing Qingyun shot towards the old man in the Frost Moon Palace's robes. This startled Xing Qingyun. Given his cultivation, the moment he left the warship, the demonic flame would immediately swallow him up. Even the significantly weakened demonic flame would not do. Xing Qingyun flailed his arms and legs, shouting. However, after shouting for a long time, he discovered a purple barrier flickering with electricity around him, blocking the surrounding demonic flame. Xing Qingyun could not help smiling. You scared this old man. It turns out that you are fine. The Frost Moon Palace's old man stepped forward and raised his right hand. He smiled coldly and said, unexpectedly, Alliance Chief Xing is so courageous that you really dare to challenge this old man. F***CK. The old man's figure was like a gust of wind, about to arrive in the blink of an eye. His speed was so fast that Xiao Chen could not react in time, unable to dodge or evade. Just as the old man closed his eyes in despair, a resplendent saber light lit up in the surging demonic flame. A saber wind easily split the demonic flame in half and headed for the old man's back. An extremely dangerous aura appeared in the old man's heart. In the time it took for a spark to fly, the old man quickly turned around and punched out. The aura of a master-level master permeated the air, and a strong wind blew. The devil flames scattered in all directions, clearing up an empty space around him. Bang! A folding fan pressed against Xiao Chen's fist, and surging quintessence surged out. Electricity burst out, and thunder rumbled in the surroundings. A look of surprise flashed in the old man's eyes as he retreated 100 meters. He had used 50% of his cultivation in that punch. Although he had been caught off guard, he should not have been knocked back by a Grandmaster-level martial sage. In his arm, the blade-like energy scraped at his bones and flesh layer by layer, causing him to feel an excruciating pain. He had to use twice as much law energy as the energy to destroy this energy. Old man, I already said that since you offended our alliance chief, no one in the world can save you. Today is the day you die. As Xiao Chen held the folding fan in his hand, his purple hair fluttered about, flickering with a crystalline light. However, the color dimmed somewhat. The scarlet Neptune headscarf on Xiao Chen's forehead made his delicate face look very sinister. Arrogant! The Frost Moon Palace's old man gave up on Xing Qingyun and charged at Xiao Chen while walking in the demonic flame. Xiao Chen did not show any fear. The earlier punch had already tested this person's limit. Compared to the demonic brilliant two elders, this Frost Moon Palace's old man was much weaker. Back then, Xiao Chen's defeat at the hands of the demonic brilliant two elders was indeed justified. Even if Xiao Chen had not consumed the primal essence nature pill, he would not have suffered too much from this old man before him. At this moment, Xiao Chen's cultivation soared. The earlier strike seemed to have activated the primal essence nature pill. The medicinal energy hidden in his body made him feel very comfortable. Unexpectedly, his cultivation had improved further. It looked like the true medicinal energy of the primal essence nature pill was still to come. When Xiao Chen's purple hair turned completely black, he could be considered to have completely absorbed the primal essence nature pill's medicinal energy. Using the folding fan as a saber, Xiao Chen materialized the flawless saber Dao and started an intense battle with the Frost Moon Palace's old man amid the dense demonic flame. The immortal will of thunder encased Xiao Chen's entire body, making his aura no weaker than the other parties. Occasionally, the vague form of his saber soul followed Xiao Chen's gaze and stabbed at the other party, throwing him into a fluster. Peerless cold moon freezing the surroundings. Suddenly, a cold, bright moon rose up behind the old man. The will of ice spread out together with the bright moon. Kasie! Kasie! Even the surrounding demonic flame was frozen into pieces. The old man roared ferociously, and a dazzling moonlight appeared on his right fist. Under the illumination of the cold moon, his entire being exuded a cold and emotionless intent. The cold intent lingered in the surroundings, vast and boundless. The old man's deep cultivation allowed this will of ice to suppress Xiao Chen's immortal will of thunder, multiplying the pressure on him. Xiao Chen closed his folding fan and casually tossed it aside. Then, he quickly formed hand seals. He materialized the chessboard of fate. The supreme mysterious phenomenon of the universe pushed 3 stars, and a black starry heaven storm descended from the sky. The starry heaven storm clashed head-on with the Frost Moon Palace's unique martial technique. The light vanished, and the cold moon in the sky swayed left and right. The black storm surged out in all directions, kicking up demonic flame tornadoes that formed berserk demonic flame tornadoes that surged in all directions. Xiao Chen stretched out his hand and grabbed the folding fan. Then, a bright moon rose up behind him as well, a flawless moon. Bright moon in the sky, only I am flawless and indestructible in the world. Xiao Chen pointed with his folding fan, and the bright moon crashed into the swaying cold moon with a loud bang. The horrifying cold qi that spread in the air, which could even freeze the demonic flame, immediately vanished like smoke. The pressure on Xiao Chen immediately decreased, and he recovered his speed. Then, he turned into a beam of purple light and charged at the Frost Moon Palace's old man again. When the old man's mysterious phenomenon broke, blood leaked out of a corner of his lips. When he saw Xiao Chen charging over, extreme shock appeared in his eyes. Who exactly are you? That was an immortal art magic skill earlier. Only immortal cultivators can use it. However, your saber intent and martial technique clearly show a strong martial cultivation. Xiao Chen waved his folding fan and smiled. I will never change my name. I am the Northern Sea Alliance's bloody young master, Yi Chen. When old Mr. goes to hell, remember who you want to take revenge on. The hair on Xiao Chen's forehead fluttered, giving off a crystalline light. He discovered that in this short period of time, his cultivation had improved significantly. Not only did his law energy not deplete, but it even increased as he fought. At this rate, when he completely absorbed the hidden medicinal energy of the primal essence nature pill, he would not have any problems reaching peak late-stage medial-grade martial sage. One side grew stronger as they fought, their auras flourishing. The other side drained their law energy continuously. For every strand of energy that flowed into their bodies, they had to spend twice as much energy to resist. At this moment, it was clear who held the advantage. You are still too inexperienced to kill me. If you think that Grandmaster-level martial sages only have these few trump cards, then you are gravely mistaken. Today, I will show you that, if there is a next life, never ever provoke a Grandmaster-level martial sage. The old man's forehead opened, and a Frost Moon Palace flew out. It gave off a bright light, and many figures holding swords flew out from it. There were both men and women. The men were handsome and elegant, and the women were fairy-like. As a cold moon rose into the sky, these ethereal, fairy-like figures radiated a sharp killing qi. They turned into beams of light and shot towards Xiao Chen. Rumor had it that the Frost Moon Palace's main palace itself was an emperor-grade secret treasure. The palace master would bestow a replica of the Frost Moon Palace to the supreme elders of the sect. This was somewhat similar to the Heaven and Earth sect's 3 immortal swords. After all, king-grade secret treasures were very hard to find. The sect could only settle for the next best thing, using this method to mass-produce some inferior king-grade secret treasures. Of course, there would be 1 or 2 of the best, using hundreds of divine materials to refine them into peak king-grade secret treasures and give them to the most worthy elite disciples of the sect. Unfortunately, the Frost Moon Palace in the old man's hand was clearly not a peak king-grade secret treasure. Xiao Chen opened his forehead, and the 10,000 beast cauldron flew out. He formed hand seals with both hands, and his magic energy surged. deep-sea black flood dragons, heavenly phoenixes, thousand-feathered snakes, pie tigers, and many other ancient mutated beasts leaped out of the cauldron. More than 500 of them appeared before stopping. Although Shao Chen only brought out 50% of the cauldron's might, the mutated beast images that leaped out were all nourished by the Holy Beast Medallion. The strength of each image more than doubled compared to before. It was no exaggeration to say that the 10,000 beast cauldron in Shao Chen's hand was much stronger than the 10,000 beast cauldron that the Lin clan elders used at full power. Shattering sounds resounded as the mutated beasts tore apart the light images descending on Shao Chen. Every time a light image was destroyed, the old man's expression became much more unsightly. Shao Chen smiled faintly. After he destroyed all the figures descending from the Frost Moon Palace, he recalled the mutated beasts back into the cauldron. Stepping on electric light, Shao Chen moved as fast as lightning as he raised the 10,000 beast cauldron. Then, he tyrannically smashed the other party's Frost Moon Palace. Bang! The Frost Moon Palace shattered and floated away. The old man's mind was connected to it. He vomited blood and his eyes turned listless. He felt incredibly weak. "You are just an old man, and you dare to be arrogant before our demon-slaying alliance? Brother Yi, leave this old man to me. Just watch my performance. You should go and rest first." Xing Qinyun, who had been hiding somewhere earlier, leaped out when he saw an opportunity. He started punching and kicking the old man, grabbing his hair and slapping him. Awesome! Who could have imagined that a Grandmaster-level martial sage would be beaten up like a dog by my hands? I, Xing Qinyun, will definitely kill Shao Chen and become famous. Xing Qinyun beat the old man to his heart's content, his entire body brimming with energy. Soon, the old man's face was swollen. His breathing was weak, and he cried out miserably. This pitiful old man had been awe-inspiring when he was alive, an overlord of a region. However, after falling into Xing Qingyun's hands, he died in such a sullen manner. Chapter 927. When Shao Chen saw the situation, he put away the old man's spatial ring and ignored him. Then, he started to collect the scattered fragments of the Frost Moon Palace. Shao Chen circulated the blue dragon body nourishing art and swallowed up the divine materials contained in the fragment. However, it felt like a drop in the bucket. He barely managed to gather a negligible amount of dragon energy. Oh no! Brother Yi, the 15 minutes are almost up. The might of the demonic flame will recover to its peak, Xing Qinyun said worriedly as he landed on the warship while carrying the half-dead old man. Shao Chen sensed that the surrounding demonic flame was indeed slowly growing hotter. His rank 3 sage body could not endure it, and he needed to circulate his law energy to deal with it. It's fine. 50 kilometers cannot trap me. After landing on the warship, Shao Chen spread his hands and lifted the warship up. He merged his vital qi, veritable essence energy, and magic energy, circulating them without any regard for the consumption. Then, he dashed wildly through the demonic flame. Shao Chen was like a beam of light as he charged forward. Xing Qinyun, who was on the warship, swayed left and right, unable to gain a foothold. Before the demonic flame completely recovered its might, the warship finally broke through the 50 kilometers of demonic flame and landed in the heavenly ruin wasteland. As Shao Chen supported the huge warship, he landed on the ground, kicking up a cloud of dust and shaking the ground. Xing Qinyun carried the half-dead Frost Moon Palace old man and stood up in a daze. When he breathed in the fresh air, he laughed loudly and said, "We are safe now." However, Shao Chen slowly discovered that something was wrong. Cold gazes filled with dense killing qi stared at him from high up in the sky. Xing Qinyun carefully looked up and saw Yun Tianhe and Gao Baiyu leading the King-Killing Alliance's large group as they looked at him expressionlessly. Strange, why are the Frost Moon Palace's people looking at me like my parents died? Xing Qinyun suddenly reacted, and his expression changed drastically. He quickly tossed the old man on his shoulder off the warship and explained, "Brother Yun, I really did not kill this person." Yun Tian has said coldly, "Xing Qingyun, you are really capable now. For the past few hundred years, no one has dared to kill the inner sect elders of my Frost Moon Palace. From today onwards, you will be added to the Heaven Character Kill Command of my Frost Moon Palace. The Sky Character Hunting Order. It's over. This is too big." The last time the Frost Moon Palace issued a Heaven Character Killing Order was 100 years ago when a loose cultivator, the blue-robed Emperor, killed their Grandmaster-level Martial Sage for no reason. Their palace master personally chased it to the end of the sea and forged it into a bone weapon. Then, he stabbed it into the walls of the Frost Moon Palace and displayed it to the public for 100 years. Xing Qingyun's heart sank. He felt so much regret that his intestines ached. It was clearly that Yi Chen who injured Xiao Chen. Xing Qingyun only casually dealt the finishing blow. How did he attract so much hatred? It is just a Grandmaster-level martial sage. If our Alliance Chief wants to kill him, so be it. Why would our Alliance Chief care about your Frost Moon Palace's dog's hit-killing order? Xiao Chen pushed off the warship with both hands and smiled gently, appearing very arrogant and despotic. After that, he added, "If you have any problems, come at me, the bloody young Master Yi Chen. Don't look for our Alliance Chief. You bunch of small fries are not fit to fight with our Alliance Chief." When Xing Qingyun heard this, he felt warmth in his heart. Yi Chen was really a good brother. At the crucial moment, he still stood out. Xing Qingyun giggled and said, "Everyone, did you hear that? Don't come at me. I am innocent. I really did not kill the Frost Moon Palace's elder. I only slapped him a few times." "You are going too far. Xing Qingyun, you are really going too far. You do not care about our Frost Moon Palace at all. You are smiling so wretchedly, yet you still look innocent. Innocent your sister. Kill him. What dogs hit Alliance Chief? If you say that I am not fit to fight with you, then this old man will take your head." The Frost Moon Palace's people could no longer hold back. They all descended from the sky and charged at Xing Qingyun, who was on the warship. Seeing an insignificant person like Xing Qingyun jumping around so happily, Gao Baiyu felt extremely upset for some reason. He waved his hand, and the Heavenly Music Sect disciples charged over as well. The other loose cultivators of the King Killing Alliance followed suit, charging over like a swarm of bees. Such a scene frightened Xing Qingyun so much that his legs went soft. "Damn! Don't come at me. Everyone, I really did not kill him. I am innocent." Xing Qingyun trembled. Yi Chen had clearly blocked them already. Why was it that a large group of people still charged at him? Xiao Chen smiled faintly and flung hard. Half a dragon force suddenly burst forth, hurling the warship like it was a mountain. Bang! 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 The huge force caused the air in the capital to tremble. Several unlucky people bore the brunt of the attack and got smashed into meat paste. The luckier ones sustained severe injuries as well. Half a dragon force, 2,500 tons of force combined with the weight of the warship, was no joke when it suddenly erupted. Xiao Chen had noticed long ago that these people gathered here as if they were guarding some natural treasure. The Grandmaster-level old man from the Heavenly Music Sect did not see Xiao Chen. Xiao Chen guessed that he had fallen to the white-clad man. Otherwise, he would have stayed by Gao Baiyu's side. That was to say, no one in this group could stop Xiao Chen. King Killing Alliance? Xiao Chen smiled and opened his folding fan. Today, he could slaughter this group of people. He had long felt uncomfortable hearing that name. Furthermore, he could pin the blame on others. Honestly speaking, this feeling was very good. Xiao Chen glanced at Xing Qingyun, who was fleeing miserably on the warship. With Xing Qingyun distracting these people, he could save some effort. At the very least, he did not need to care about these shrimp soldiers and could directly deal with Yun Tianhe and Gao Baiyu. Yi Chen, we respect you as a person of the Northern Sea Alliance. Just hand over Xing Qingyun and let us settle this matter. We do not have any conflict with you. As Yun Tianhe stood in the palace, a cold moon hung high above as he flew over to Shaoqun. A set of bells floated in front of Gao Baiyu. When he gently shook them, they tinkled endlessly. Then, he looked at Shaoqun and said, "Brother Yun is right. We have no grudge with you. Hand over Xing Qingyun and save the face of our king-killing alliance, and we can forget about this matter." Yun Tianhe continued, "As the saying goes, a strong dragon cannot suppress a snake in its territory. Even if the two of us work together, we would not lose to you by much." Our respective senior brothers also followed Di Wuk to the Immortal Sect Remnant. If you get into a conflict with us and go to the Immortal Sect Remnant, you will end up provoking a strong enemy for no reason. The bloody young Master Yi Chen was too famous. Furthermore, the two Grandmaster-level experts protecting them were nowhere to be found. Right now, Yun Tianhe and Gao Baiyu did not have much confidence. It would be for the best if they could turn this matter into a small one. Shaoqun found it funny. If he were really Yi Chen, he might agree to these two's request. Unfortunately, he was not. Xiao Chen's true identity was already a sworn enemy of this group of people. He would not have a chance to resolve this. Scram! Are you even worthy of speaking to me, the bloody young Master Yi Chen? You overestimate yourselves. Toss down the spatial rings in your hands and these two king-grade secret treasures. I'll torture you until you die. With Yi Chen's identity, Shaoqun could do whatever he wanted. No matter how big the commotion was, there was that distant brother to take care of it. I have long heard that the bloody young Master Yi Chen is arrogant and conceited, considering everyone beneath him. Today, I finally get to experience it for myself. When Yun Tianhe heard the word "scram" as he stood in the palace, he trembled in anger. Shaoqun smiled and said, "Remember, the person who killed you is me, the bloody young Master Yi Chen." A flash of electric light roared, and a scarlet cloak fluttered in the wind. Saber intent filled the air as Shaoqun charged at Yun Tianhe. Yun Tianhe pushed off the ground, and the palace carried him high into the air. Many ethereal figures shot out of the palace under the cold moonlight. Every figure radiated a boundless killing intent, materializing different killing moves. 1,000 figures meant 1,000 killing moves. Flashy but impractical, the 1,000 killing moves looked mighty and mighty. However, in reality, every move was unrelated. Without a strong leader to lead these 1,000 people, they were like a plate of loose sand. Shaoqun now had a rough understanding of the Frost Moon Palace's secret treasure. The core of this secret treasure was not the secret treasure itself, but the person using it. A powerful, outstanding talent with great boldness was needed to truly subdue these light figures. At that time, one person with 3,000 experts would be sufficient to sweep through cultivators of the same generation. Right now, Yun Tianhe's secret treasure was just for show. It might be able to scare off regular geniuses, but it was insufficient before Shaoqun. Bang! 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 1,000 killing moves and 1,000 figures could not block Shaoqun for long. In one exchange, a figure's killing move broke, shattering into pieces. After breaking 1,000 moves, Shaoqun caught up to Yun Tianhe. Then, he started a huge battle with him above the palace. Shaoqun used his body as a saber and his thoughts as a saber. Everywhere he went was a saber. In merely 3 moves, Shaoqun knocked Yun Tianhe back and vomited blood. Continuous chimes rang out. It was Gao Baiyu striking the set of bells, sending out musical notes as he charged at Shaoqun. Shaoqun had no choice but to give up on this opportunity to kill Yun Tianhe. He turned around and gently waved his folding fan. A strong wind blew at Gao Baiyu, carrying the musical notes with it. Gao Baiyu had not expected Shaoqun's cultivation to be so deep, comparable to a regular Grandmaster-level martial sage's. The force of his fan could kick up such a strong wind. Bang! 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 Explosions resounded. A few of the small bells on the set of bells clashed with the returning musical notes and shattered. The originally relatively complete tune was immediately disrupted. Gao Baiyu paled slightly, and blood leaked out of a corner of his lip. "Let's go. We are not a match for him," Gao Baiyu shouted. Gao Baiyu called out and prepared to leave with Yun Tianhe. However, when he looked back, he discovered that Yun Tianhe, whom he had saved, had already taken the opportunity to run away. "Damn!" Gao Baiyu cursed. As he looked at the approaching Xiao Chen, he steeled his heart and raised the set of bells with both hands. Then, he infused all his law energy into them. Dang! 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 The small bells infused with divine materials gave off melodious notes, playing an impassioned war song that resounded in the surroundings. "Yi Chen, our heavenly music sect will not share the same sky with you. You had best not go to the Immortal sect remnant. Otherwise, you will not be able to return." Gao Baiyu, who was holding up the set of bells, tossed them at Xiao Chen. A strong, storm-like war song descended from the 9 heavens. It was like a vast army surging towards Xiao Chen. For the sake of survival, Gao Baiyu decisively gave up on this set of bells, hoping to buy himself some time. Chapter 928. Xiao Chen smiled faintly and clashed with the incoming bells. He punched 8 times, each punch shaking the sky and earth, scattering the clouds in the surroundings and resounding in the sky. After the 8 punches, the purple color above Xiao Chen's head dimmed slightly, and the bells shattered. Gao Baiyu's figure had already vanished from sight. Xiao Chen did not chase after him either. He circulated the blue dragon body nourishing art and moved his hands, turning the fragments of the bells into a bright light that he swallowed up. Xiao Chen closed his eyes and digested the energy. Then, he opened his eyes and said, "I feel something. That weak dragon energy is no longer indistinct." However, when Xiao Chen thought about it, after swallowing 2 king-grade secret treasures, the blue dragon body nourishing art showed only such a small improvement. He could not help feeling dispirited. "Brother Yi, save me!" Sob. Sob. "They are chasing me to death. They are a bunch of bastards. I already said that I'm innocent." When Xiao Chen looked back, he saw that Xing Qingyun's fortress ship had already been torn apart, leaving only a wooden plank. Xing Qingyun hugged the plank as he fled in the air. He was in a sorry state and his clothes were tattered. He looked like a refugee, looking very miserable. Xiao Chen smiled faintly and said, "Alliance Chief, don't panic. Yi Chen is here." Now that Xiao Chen had the time to deal with this group of useless soldiers, he naturally did not have to spend much effort. Aside from a few who could not be bothered to give chase, most of the king-killing alliance's people died. As Xing Qingyun tidied up the spatial ring that Xiao Chen gave him, he laughed until he cried. He could not do anything about it. When he moved his lips, the wounds on his body tore open. Despite the pain, he could not stop laughing. "Ha! I'm rich. I've been a loose cultivator for 10-odd years, but I have never felt so happy before. Ouch! How painful!" These people did not hold back at all. As Xing Qingyun laughed, he tidied up his belongings. For a moment, he felt some lofty aspirations. "My current resources are more than enough for me to cultivate to medial-grade martial sage. After I kill Xiao Chen, my name will spread everywhere. Everyone in the world will know the name of the demon-killing alliance's chief, Xing Qingyun." If he knew that Xiao Chen was standing right beside him, how would he feel? "Alliance Chief Xing, you are quite open-minded. You do not care about the Frost Moon Palace's Heaven Character Pursuit Order at all," Xiao Chen said coldly as he waved his folding fan. When Xing Qingyun heard that, his expression immediately changed. "Heaven Character Killing Order? Why is my life so bitter? It was not easy for me to make a name for myself, yet I am going to die young. Right, I got it." Xiao Chen saw his eyes suddenly light up and said with a smile, "Got it? Got what?" Xing Qingyun chuckled and said, "Young Master Yi, I've thought of a way to get the Frost Moon Palace to take back the Heaven Character Killing Order. At that time, after young Master Yi kills Xiao Qin, just lend me your head. With this head, you will definitely be able to get the Frost Moon Palace to take back the Heaven Character Killing Order. Sure, it's a small matter. Xiao Qin smiled faintly, looking incredibly kind. Xing Qingyun patted Xiao Qian's shoulder and said, "In that case, I'll have to trouble Brother Yi. The one who kills Xiao Qin will definitely be young Master Yi." "Hey, young Master Yi, why did your hair turn lighter?" Xing Qingyun raised his head and accidentally glanced at Xiao Qian's hair. He discovered that Xiao Qian's purple hair was much dimmer than its initial crystalline and almost purple color. Of course, Xiao Qian still looked very sinister. That aura made it hard for others to connect it to the white-robed Xiao Qian's calmness. Xiao Qian's hair turned from black to purple because the primal essence nature pill's medicinal energy had accumulated in his body and had not completely dispersed. As the medicinal energy was absorbed, his hair would turn black sooner or later. At that time, it would be very difficult to pretend to be Yi Chen. The medicinal energy would be completely absorbed in at most 10 days, at least 3. His cultivation should reach peak medial grade martial sage. He might even be able to break through to superior grade martial sage. At that time, Xiao Qian would not care about the demonic brilliant two elders, and he would not need to pretend to be someone else. However, Xiao Qian still needed the identity of the bloody young Master Yi Chen. He also needed Xing Qingyun's cooperation. Xiao Qian used his folding fan and knocked on Xing Qingyun's head. He said, "You are too nosy. Let's quickly go and see what treasure Yun Tianhe, Gao Baiyu, and the others were waiting for earlier." The two searched the vicinity. After a while, they discovered something. Purple jade bamboos of various heights grew on a slope in front. They piled up at the top of the mountain, and a clump of thunderclouds floated in the sky. One of these bamboos stood out from the rest. It had more than 1,000 segments and was 100 meters tall. It looked very special among the purple bamboos. Thunder bamboo. 1,000 segments of thunder bamboo. This is heaven-defying, Xing Qingyun exclaimed. The thunder bamboo was a natural divine material. With some trimming, it could be made into a thunder bamboo sword, which could rival a superior grade sage grade secret treasure. Using it to refine weapons could significantly improve the quality of a secret treasure. For a long time, it had been a priceless treasure. Every year, the thunder bamboo would undergo a lightning tribulation. If it succeeded, it would grow another segment. If it failed, it would vanish completely. Xiao Qin grabbed hold of Xing Qingyun, who was about to charge forward. "Don't send yourself to death. Don't you see that the 1,000-year-old thunder bamboo is about to undergo another tribulation?" Xing Qingyun looked up. Indeed, more thunderclouds gathered in the sky, making it look gloomy. It looked like the entire sky was going to collapse. If Xing Qingyun charged forward rashly, he would be blasted to ashes on the spot. He could not help feeling fear when he thought about it. No wonder Yun Tianhe's group lingered here and did not make a move. They probably feared this thunder bamboo. Little friends, are you thinking of getting your hands on this thunder bamboo? I advise you not to think about it. Just at this moment, a short, grayish old man with shifty eyes, no more than 1 meter tall, arrived behind the two at some point in time. Xing Qingyun looked at this old man, who had crawled out from somewhere. He cursed. Where did this old thing come from? To think that you dare to cause trouble when you see our demon-slaying alliance here. Gram. Xiao Qin smiled and said, Alliance Chief Xing, your temper seems to have increased recently. You even do not care about Grandmaster-level martial sages anymore. This startled Xing Qingyun. However, his expression quickly recovered. He said with a smile, Grandpa, Senior, Grandpa, I was just joking earlier. Don't take it seriously. Please don't take it seriously. The shifty-eyed old man stared at Xiao Qin and said, Brat, your eyes are pretty good. This Lord Jiu hid so well, but it still did not escape your eyes. This old man before Xiao Chen was not human. Xiao Chen could feel the aura of a fiend race cultivator. Earlier, Xiao Chen's spiritual sense caught the other party crawling out from the mound. Based on his aura, he should be a rat-type spirit beast in human form. A playful expression appeared in Xiao Chen's eyes as he said softly, "I am the Northern Sea Alliance's bloody young master Yi Chen. How should I address Senior? Why is this thunder bamboo not useful? Just address me as Lord Jiu if you give me face. The thunder bamboo is a natural treasure. It has never lived for more than 1,000 years. This is the rule of the heavenly Tao. It is like how a fish cannot leave the water. After 1,000 years, it will die. Not only that, but the 1,000-year lightning tribulation will also affect the other thunder bamboos. This entire patch of thunder bamboo will be destroyed. You are just wasting your time here." Xiao Chen revealed an expression of understanding. He smiled and said, "In that case we will take our leave first. Thank you, Lord Jiu. It's just a small matter." "There is no need to thank me," Lord Jiu said generously, waving his hand. When the two were far away, it was indeed as Lord Jiu said. The 1,000-year thunder bamboo failed its tribulation, and even the patch of thunder bamboo disappeared. "You two fools. For this 1,000-year thunder bamboo to be so outstanding, several times taller than the other thunder bamboos, its roots must be connected to a pure thunder origin. This Lord Jiu got lucky." The shifty-eyed old man kicked up a cloud of dust and arrived at the rubble of the thunder bamboo forest in the blink of an eye. Whoosh! Just as the old man was about to dig up the roots, two figures descended from the sky. Xiao Chen waved his folding fan and smiled at the old man. This startled the old man, and his eyes went wide. "You two fools, why are you back?" The moment the old man said that, he felt that it was inappropriate. He immediately lowered his head and smiled. "Young heroes, why did you rush back? This is a barren land with nothing to see." Xiao Chen sized up the old man and smiled. "This young master saw that you have a dignified appearance and extraordinary strength, so I wanted to invite Senior to join my demon-slaying alliance. Unexpectedly, I heard some things that I should not have heard." Lord Jiu felt depressed in his heart. It looked like someone had tricked him. The other party did not believe him at all. Xing Qinyan scolded jokingly, "Look at you, your eyes darting around when you speak. It would be strange if you could deceive someone." Lord Jiu's expression changed, and he unleashed the aura of a Grandmaster-level martial sage. He said in a cold voice, "You two juniors, scram quickly. Otherwise, don't blame this Lord Jiu for starting a massacre." Xiao Chen shook his head and smiled. "Senior, stop pretending. Your legs are already trembling. Why are you still pretending to be an expert? Your clan should be the most sensitive to danger. You should know best what kind of strength I have." Xiao Chen took 3 steps forward, and the old man trembled in fear. How could he still have the air of an expert? He turned around and tried to burrow into the ground. Rats were always afraid of death. Most people said that rats were as timid as rat. Actually, this saying was not false. This old man before Xiao Chen was pretty strong. However, his nature was hard to change. His cowardly nature revealed itself at the crucial moment. The old man felt a dangerous aura from Xiao Chen for some reason. He understood that he was not a match for Xiao Chen. If he fought, he would definitely die. Originally, he wanted to pretend to be an expert and trick the two away. Who knew, his acting skills were not up to par, and he was seen through with one glance. Xiao Chen made a move at lightning speed, grabbing the old man's ankle and lifting him into the air. Then, his law energy turned into a blade-like energy and poured into the old man's body. The old man immediately cried out in pain. Xiao Chen tossed him to the ground and said with a smile, "Senior, stop running. Quickly dig out the thunder origin. Otherwise, you will suffer more." The old man landed on the ground and looked at Xiao Chen with some fear. Earlier, the electric energy had been incredibly sharp. The old man had used nearly 10 times his law energy to barely block it. He knew that he had run into a powerful person this time. The old man no longer dared to have any other thoughts. He only wanted to dig out the thunder origin and quickly leave this little demon. The old man found the withered roots of the 1,000-year-old thunder bamboo. Then, his hands flashed, and he quickly dug out layers of soil. In the blink of an eye, a 10-meter-deep hole appeared in the ground. After a while, the hole was 100 meters deep, startling Xing Qingyun. Damn! This old man really has the strength of a Grandmaster-level martial sage. How come I can't tell at all? Xiao Chen smiled and said, It's simple. He is like you, bold and timid. If you had the strength of a Grandmaster-level martial sage, your aura would be similar. Chapter 929. Xing Qingyun smiled embarrassedly and quickly shut his mouth, not saying anything more. The sound of thunder came from below, and the old man flew out, his entire body scorched black. In his hand was a small purple dragon. I almost let it escape. Sir Yi, I've given you the thunder source. Can this Lord Jie leave now? The thunder origin was the product of a spirit vein's origin becoming sentient. Similar to it were the wind origin, the fire origin, and the ice origin. Compared to the spirit vein's origin, these thunder origins were purer. To cultivators of the same attribute, they were even more valuable than the spirit vein's origin. Xiao Chen sealed the thunder origin, and a strange look flashed in his eyes. This old man was rather capable. The thunder origin was sentient. Ordinary people would not be able to capture it easily. Rumble! There was a loud sound, and the ground under Xiao Chen's feet suddenly shook intensely. A multicolored light soared into the sky from an unknown distance. Ethereal celestial music came from the multicolored light. Xiao Chen could vaguely see the image of an immortal palace with fairies dancing and playing music. Whoosh! 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 Countless figures immediately rushed towards the multicolored light in the entire heavenly ruin wasteland. The old man said with a fervent gaze, The protective formation of a large immortal sect is finally broken. Ha ha! This Lord Jiu is going to get rich. I'll take my leave first. Old man, where are you going? This alliance chief did not even say you could leave. When Xing Qingyun saw this old man trembling before Xiao Chen, he was truly as timid as a mouse. Xiao Chen did not care about it. His figure flashed, and he blocked the old man's path with a smile. Scram! This Lord Jiu, how dare you block me? When the old man saw Xing Qingyun blocking his path, he casually threw a palm strike. Bang! Xing Qingyun flew back, unable to resist at all. His chest ached. Ouch! Old thing! I'm not done with you! Xing Qingyun held his chest as he groaned on the ground. His facial features contorted. He was in so much pain that he wanted to die. Xiao Chen smiled faintly. This Xing Qingyun was truly infuriating. He looked into the distance, at the multicolored light, and revealed a contemplative expression. The protective formation took so much time to break. It looked like this immortal sect remnant really belonged to a large immortal Dao sect. It would definitely attract many experts. Xiao Chen did not know how many more divine materials the blue dragon body nourishing art would have to consume before he could improve. He had to go to the immortal sect remnant. However, Diwuk, the top true inheritors of the Frost Moon Palace and the Heavenly Music sect were there. Who knew how many elders of their sects followed behind them? There were countless loose cultivators who coveted his peak immortal spirit ring. With just one glance, Diwuk would probably recognize Xiao Chen's current identity. Then, Xiao Chen would immediately face a trap of death. Brother Yi, the immortal sect remnant has opened. Should we go and take a look? Who knows, Xiao Chen might be there. Don't forget the true purpose of the demon-slaying alliance. In just a short while, Xing Qingyun arrived before Xiao Chen. Clearly, he was very tempted. Let's go, you lead the way. Indecisiveness was not in Xiao Chen's character. After weighing it in his heart, Xiao Chen decided to go. The Immortal sect ruins were vast and boundless. There was no reason for him to bump into Wuk the moment he saw him. The identity of the bloody young Master Yi Chen could help Shao Chen for a while. When he broke through to medial grade martial sage, he would no longer have to fear anything. Xing Qinyun immediately led the way joyfully, heading towards the land of rainbow light. The heavenly ruin wasteland was boundlessly vast. Aside from the Immortal sect remnants, one could occasionally come across natural treasures like the thunder bamboo. Under Shao Chen's incitement, Xing Qinyun would use the name of the Demon Extermination Alliance to intervene in the original disputes and reap benefit. Although his speed was slow, he had obtained quite a lot of benefit. As they got closer to the Immortal sect remnant, more experts appeared and the situation became increasingly chaotic. Shao Chen found it hard to fully grasp the situation. However, Xing Qinyun had good eyesight. When he sensed that something was off, he immediately turned around and circled around. How miserable! Shao Chen robbed me again. He stripped me of all my treasures, even my spatial ring. I'm even more miserable. He robbed me of my spatial ring and even called me a pauper, saying that I was wasting his time. This Shao Chen is getting more and more overboard. He is ridiculously strong as well. I heard that he robbed several Grandmaster-level martial sages. White-robed Shao Chen is really bold. A group of martial sages with miserable expressions walked past them. This was already not the first time Shao Chen and Xing Qinyun heard of someone being robbed by Shao Chen. Xing Qinyun did not have much of a reaction. However, Shao Chen had some misgivings. Could it be that the white-robed person I saw at the entrance of the heavenly ruin wasteland really used his name? Whoosh! Just as Shao Chen thought this, the ground in front exploded. A short figure fell to the ground in a sorry state. After he got up, he kicked up a cloud of dust and rushed over in the direction of Shao Chen and Xing Qinyun. Xing Qinyun's eyes were sharp. He exclaimed in shock, "Old thing, you still dare to come?" This short old man was Lord Jiu, who had helped collect the Thunder Origin 2 days ago. At this moment, he was fleeing in a panic. Someone was chasing him, so he ran for his life. Xing Qinyun took a step forward and blocked the old man again. However, this time, he was in an even more miserable state. The old man knocked him flying and tumbled in the air. The old man moved like the wind, passing by Shao Chen in a flash. However, he immediately returned at an even faster speed, looking at Shao Chen in pleasant surprise. Xing Qinyun just landed in the air, and the old man immediately caught him. His face filled with a flattering smile as he said, "So, it is Alliance Chief Xing and young Master Yi. I was in too much of a rush earlier and did not see clearly. I really did not see clearly." Xing Qinyun's internal organs churned. Just as he was about to curse, he saw a white figure in front. This person held a long saber, and saber intent covered his entire body, stirring up the winds and clouds in the surroundings. Buzz, buzz, buzz. The hum of sabers filled the surroundings, gathering together. Even the world trembled under his feet. Whoosh! The expressions of the old man and Xing Qinyun changed. At the critical moment, they both hid behind Shao Chen without prior consultation. Shao Chen! Shao Chen! He really came! Xing Qinyun was greatly startled. Along the way, the demon-slaying alliance had gained some fame. Now, many people knew about this alliance that existed specifically to kill Shao Chen. Even the king-killing alliance, which was originally very powerful, was destroyed in the hands of the demon-slaying alliance. However, when Xing Qinyun truly saw Shao Chen, he did not hesitate to cower. Shao Chen looked up and sized up the white figure before him with interest. Without a doubt, this was the person Shao Chen saw at the entrance. Shao Chen had a photographic memory and would not confuse people he had seen before. The white-robed person before Shao Chen looked very handsome. Furthermore, he exuded a sharp saber intent. Aside from the inextinguishable evil aura on his face, the white-robed person did look somewhat similar to Shao Chen. However, this only worked on people who had not truly seen him before. If he met someone familiar, he would be able to tell with one glance. The white-robed person glanced at the old man hiding behind Xiao Chen. Then, he sized up Xiao Chen. His lips curled up slightly. Interesting. You even dare to protect the person that I, Xiao Chen, want to kill. Have you not heard of me, the white-robed Xiao Chen? This person really used his name to kill people and snatch their treasures. Xiao Chen really wanted to say, if you are Xiao Chen, then who am I? However, this was naturally not the time to expose his identity. Xiao Chen opened his folding fan and smiled coldly. Xiao Chen? You came at just the right time. My Northern Sea Alliance's bloody young master Yi Chen has long heard of your great name. The demon-slaying alliance exists for you. Today, I can use your head to spread the name of my bloody young master. When Xiao Chen said this, his tone was very natural. His expression was cold, showing no openings, and his aura was very strong. In the past, people always said similar things to him. Today, when Xiao Chen said it himself, he found it rather interesting. Yi Chen. When the white-robed person heard the name Yi Chen, his expression clearly froze. He gave Xiao Chen a strange look before smiling in understanding. So, the demon-slaying alliance that caused such a commotion recently is the two of you. The two clashed with each other, neither giving way. Their strong auras clashed intensely in the air. The purple talisman in Xiao Chen's sea of consciousness released 4 strands of golden light. Xiao Chen's will of thunder and vague saber soul turned into a formless aura pressing towards the other party. A scarlet light flashed in the white-robed person's eyes. Immediately, a sea of blood surged, and a strong will of massacre spread throughout his entire body. He casually swung his saber and blocked Xiao Chen's aura. The sound of weapons clashing rang out in the air. Dang dang! The sound was ear-splitting, spreading in all directions for 5 kilometers around. The winds and clouds changed color, and thunder rumbled. The clash between the will of massacre and the immortal will of thunder was even more startling. When the scarlet light and purple light clashed, space twisted and gave off loud sounds. Cracks even appeared on the ground. Before the two started fighting, the auras of the two already pressured Xing Qinyun and the old man, prompting them to quickly move to the side. Doubt appeared in the hearts of the two at the same time. As they looked at each other, a strange smile appeared on their faces. Bloody young Master Yi Chen, you truly live up to your reputation. However, it seems like Yi Chen's forte is the massacre Dao. Are you still holding back? The white-robed person raised his eyebrows. The saber in his hand moved as he wished, looking like it could break the sky at any moment. Xiao Chen smiled faintly and closed his folding fan. White-robed King Xiao Chen's will of thunder and the flawless saber Dao. You seem to be hiding your strength as well. I will cooperate with you. Ah, heaven is indeed helping me. Unexpectedly, while chasing Xiao Chen, I even found the 2 bastards of the demon-slaying alliance. Just as the two were about to start a huge battle, a disharmonious voice suddenly rang out in the sky. Xiao Chen saw Gao Baiyu and Yun Tianhe standing side by side in the air above a palace. An old man stood behind each of them. Xiao Chen sensed for a while and frowned slightly. These 2 old men were actually great grandmaster-level martial sages on the same level as the demonic brilliant 2 elders. Gao Baiyu looked at the white-robed person expressionlessly and said in a cold voice, Xiao Chen, you killed an inner sect elder of my heavenly music sect, and you still dare to show off? You are really tired of living. Yun Tianhe stood in the palace and shouted coldly, Xing Qinyun, you killed an inner sect elder of my Frost Moon Palace. Today will be the day you die. When Xing Qinyun, who was hiding far away, heard this, he nearly fell to his knees. He had already kept a very low profile. Why did Yun Tianhe still not forget about him? Chapter 930. The white-clad man's lips curled up as he looked at the two in the sky. After chasing them for so many days, they are really tireless. Brother Yi Chen, how about we work together to kill these flies before we fight? Xiao Chen gently fanned himself with the folding fan in his right hand. His already much dimmer purple hair fluttered in the strong wind, giving off a startling evil aura. He smiled faintly and said, "That is exactly what I was thinking." With their current strength, neither of them could defeat the two Grandmaster-level martial sages on the same level as the demonic brilliant two elders. However, if they each fought one-on-one, the outcome would be hard to predict. A scarlet light soared into the sky. The white-clad man held his saber and charged at the Frost Moon Palace's great Grandmaster-level martial sages, filling the air with saber intent. Electric light flashed everywhere, and rumbling sounds rang out. Xiao Chen stood on electric light, moving as fast as lightning, charging at the heavenly music sect's great Grandmaster-level martial sage. A startling battle soon started. A battle between Grandmaster-level martial sages would be very intense. There was no need to guess to know. Yun Tianhe and Gao Baiyu had taken advantage of the palace to move to the side long ago. They could not participate in a battle of this level. On a small hill in the distance, Xing Qinyun and the old man, who were preparing to flee at any moment, sneakily watched the battle. Speaking of which, Lord Jiu, aren't you a Grandmaster-level martial sage as well? Why are you not going up to help? Xing Qinyun asked in confusion as he looked at the shifty-eyed old man beside him. Lord Jiu felt somewhat embarrassed. He smiled abashedly and said, "This Lord Jiu's air of a Grandmaster-level martial sage is too exaggerated. It is different from these proper Grandmaster-level martial sages. My cultivation also depends on time. Furthermore, this Lord Jiu's forte is not fighting but treasure hunting." Xing Qingyun's lips curled up as he suddenly understood, revealing a look of disdain. The old man smiled and said, "Of course, this Lord Jiu can still easily destroy a cowardly fellow like you with a wave of my finger." Xing Qinyun was upset. However, he could not defeat Xiao Chen, so he could only endure. He felt very depressed in his heart. This won't do. I can't even defeat a scoundrel old man. The old man fighting Xiao Chen was Xiao Ju, a senior in the heavenly music sect's inner sect. He wore azure-embroidered clothes and held a 7-stringed zither with both hands. His skin was smooth, delicate, and ruddy, unlike the skin of an ordinary old man, which was coarse and full of wrinkles. Ding-ding-dong-dong. With a wave of his fingers, Xiao Ju began to play an erotic song. Compared to the disciples of the Heavenly Chord sect that Xiao Chen had met before, Xiao Ju had already reached another realm. As the zither music entered Xiao Chen's ears, an illusion appeared before Xiao Chen's eyes. He found himself in the sky, surrounded by spiritual fog. Before him, there were 10 odd voluptuous women wearing veils dancing in the fog. The cloth on his body, including the edges and corners, was no larger than the size of a palm. Her dancing body seemed to have a magical charm. It was extremely alluring, causing the fire in people's hearts to burn. Xiao Ju looked at Xiao Chen, who was trapped in the illusion, and revealed a cold smile. His fingers moved even faster, and the zither music rang out continuously. When Yun Tianhe, who was in the palace, saw the situation, he rejoiced. Just as he was about to charge over and kill Xiao Chen, Gao Baiyu stopped him. "Brother Yun, please wait. Any external force can break the illusion. Take your time and watch the show. This demonic lust song was created by an elder of my sect after he captured an abyss Eros demon and carefully savored it. The people trapped in it have only one fate, to suck them dry and feed them to Elder Xiao." When Yun Tianhe heard that, he could not help feeling startled. This illusion seemed to be between reality and illusion. To think that it could use charm techniques to suck the other party's life essence. In the illusion, 8 beautiful women had already arrived by Xiao Chen's side. They stroked their hair coquettishly, occasionally making seductive movements that made him spit fire. This made him feel like he was in heaven, wishing that he could have a good time. After watching for a while, Xiao Chen found it boring. The only charm technique that could make him sink into it for a while was the one executed by the Eros demon, Lung Yu. With this thought, Xiao Chen could not help but recall the time he spent with Lung Yu in the deep-sea battlefield in the lower realm. Now, he didn't know where this mysterious woman was. The demonic calamity was approaching. If they met again, he did not know whether they would be friend or foe. Young master, this servant is not beautiful enough. As Xiao Chen pondered, one of the beautiful women removed her veil, revealing a pure face. Xiao Chen was slightly stunned. Her appearance was exactly the same as Ling Yu's. The woman smiled faintly and hooked her arms around Xiao Chen's neck. Taking advantage of his momentary daze, she tried to kiss his lips. Just as her flaming red lips were about to touch his by an inch, a broken sword appeared in Xiao Chen's hand. Then, he pressed the sword against the other party's lips coldly. Xiao Chen casually flicked his left hand and pushed this beautiful woman far away. As Xiao Chen looked at the broken sword in his hand, he forgot where he was and entered a daze. Earlier, just as Xiao Chen was about to sink into oblivion, the broken Thunder King's mulberry sword in his universe ring suddenly trembled, startling him to his senses. "Will I return alive? You have to. Even if you want to die, I will not let you die. Even if you die, you will not die." The words of the past resounded in Xiao Chen's mind. He felt disappointed and frustrated as he tightly grasped the broken sword. The blade stabbed into his palm and blood flowed out. It is just a weak remnant thought. Do you still remember what you said back then, not allowing me to die? But when will I be able to pull you back in the long river of fate? With a thought, Xiao Chen's head of purple hair disappeared, fluttering in the wind. The evil aura that Xiao Chen purposely showed no longer existed. The scarlet Neptune headscarf also turned pure sky blue. In the past 3 days, Xiao Chen had already absorbed most of the primal essence nature pill's medicinal energy. If not for maintaining his identity as the bloody young master Yi Chun, his purple hair would have turned black long ago. Now that he thought of the past, Xiao Chen's emotions fluctuated. He forgot to put on a disguise, and the evil aura he exuded vanished. Replacing it was that calm and cold apprehension. Boom! The folding fan in Xiao Ju's left hand shattered, and the entire illusion vanished. The scene before him changed. Blood leaked out of a corner of his lips as he looked at the broken zither. Shock filled his face. Xiao Chen pulled back his left hand and put away the scarlet cloak. His white robes and fine black hair fluttered in the wind. Under the sky-blue Neptune headscarf was a cold and delicate face. Xiao Chen's eyes were like a deep pool, unfathomable and unchanging. "That's impossible. My demonic lust song has never lost to a cultivator of the same generation." Xiao Ju's eyes filled with shock. A light flashed in his hand, and he reconnected the 7-stringed zither. Then, his fingertips streaked across the zither, and a decadent music reverberated, sounding like a woman's moans. "My body is like a saber, my thoughts are like a saber. I am the saber, and the saber is me." Xiao Chen's white robes fluttered as a cool breeze blew. When Xiao Chen took a step forward, the sound of a powerful treasure saber being unsheathed resounded in the world. With every step Xiao Chen took, a saber hum resounded. While it looked slow, the saber intent buzzed endlessly, reverberating in the air. Using sound to enter a berserking demonic Tao, using yin and yang to nourish one another. This is against the heavenly Tao. Elder Xiao, you should not have existed in this world long ago. The melodious saber hum shattered all the zither music. As Xiao Chen walked over, his saber intent grew increasingly ferocious and unrestrained. In the end, all the saber sounds merged and formed a divine sound. Then, it tore through the barrier of the sky and soared into the clouds. The divine sound nourished the soul. Xiao Ju's 7-stringed zither shattered, filling the air with splinters. The vague form of the saber soul in the purple talisman in Xiao Chen's sea of consciousness was no longer as blurry as before. 4 strands of golden light became clearly visible, looking incredibly sharp. Xiao Chen was slightly stunned. The vague form of the saber soul actually broke through at this moment. His saber intent was now at 100% complete, condensing a true soul. Elder Xiao, in the end, the demonic lust song is just an unorthodox Tao. You are also someone who will soon become a great Grandmaster level martial sage. Let's have an open battle and decide who is better. Xiao Ju could not be bothered with Xiao Chen. A strange light flashed in his eyes as he turned around, wanting to leave. Xiao Chen's demonic lust song was not some unorthodox Tao. He had easily toyed with several Grandmaster-level martial sages to death, replenishing their life essence. So, you are the true Xiao Chen. Don't get cocky. When I refine a good zither, I will absorb your life essence. Xiao Chen shook his head slightly, revealing some disappointment in his eyes. At this moment, Xiao Chen had already drawn out the remaining medicinal energy of the primal essence nature pill without any reservations. His cultivation had already risen to peak consummation medial grade martial sage. His saber soul had formed, and his strength had soared. Xiao Chen had wanted to have a good fight. Unexpectedly, this person before him had been blinded by an external object. His cultivation was useless, just for show. Since that is so, I shall grant you death. Xiao Chen materialized the flawless saber Dao, and a bright moon rose behind him. With a flip of his hand, night fell, blocking Xiao Ju's path. With a flip of his hand, night appeared, and the bright moon appeared. Flawless night, flawless moon, and flawless saber. The bright moon turned into a resplendent saber light descending from the sky, blocking Xiao Ju's path. The saber light containing the saber soul had a special charm to it. The saber light seemed solid. A full moon rose amid the saber light. There were people and palaces in the moon, as if there was a small world inside. This was the soul, which gave a martial technique a soul. It was no longer just for show, but truly contained its essence. This allowed the saber technique to reach a whole new level. Xiao Ju's zither was destroyed. When facing this flawless bright moon, he could only use his own cultivation to clash head-on. Xiao Chen moved his hands, and musical notes rang out. Each note was sonorous and forceful, causing the sky to tremble as he composed an impassioned song. Dang! After clashing head-on with this move, Xiao Ju, who already suffered hidden injuries from the destruction of his zither, vomited another mouthful of blood and was forced back. Snowflakes danced in the air. The white-robed Xiao Chen charged towards Xiao Ju amidst the snowflakes filling the air. Every move he made contained a boundless saber intent. Xiao Ju, whose mind was already in chaos, held on bitterly. Up in the palace, Yun Tianhe and Gao Baiyu exchanged glances. Unexpectedly, Xiao Chen and the white-robed person were so strong, completely surpassing their expectations. Let's go. Stop thinking about these two. Aside from our senior brothers, there is still Di-Wuk. A regular Grandmaster-level martial sage would not be able to suppress them. Damn it. If not for the main forces of my Frost Moon Palace and the Heavenly Music sect entering the Immortal sect remnant, these two would not be able to be so arrogant. Chapter 931. As Yun Tianhe controlled his palace, he gave Xiao Chen and the white-clad man a deep look. When he saw that Xiao Ju and the Heavenly Music sect old man were in a disadvantageous position and gradually losing ground, he quickly left. 1 hour later, Xiao Chen executed Subduing Dragon Profound Slash and finally killed Xiao Ju, whose mind was severely injured from the damaged demonic zither. Then, he took Xiao Ju's spatial ring. The impassioned war song came to an end. Xiao Chen slowly landed on the ground. At this moment, he tossed aside his disguise. After absorbing the primal essence nature pill's medicinal energy and grasping the saber soul, he would be able to hold his own against the demonic brilliant two elders. There was still a pure thunder origin in the universe ring. Xiao Chun hesitated over whether to take this opportunity to consume it and break through the shackles of medial-grade martial sage in one go, advancing to superior-grade martial sage. On the other side, the white-clad man's battle also came to an end. This expert from the Frost Moon Palace was much stronger than Xiao Ju. He was not like the Frost Moon Palace old man, who only had the demonic lust song and only had his cultivation, getting killed by Xiao Chun. When Xiao Chun saw that he could not defeat the white-clad man, he used a killing move to force the other party back. Then, he quickly moved away, not giving the white-clad man a chance to continue pestering him. As the white-clad man watched the old man go far away, he felt somewhat disappointed. If he had exhausted some of his opponent's law energy, he would have been able to keep him here. Just thinking about the wealth of a Grandmaster-level martial sage was tempting. Unfortunately, Xiao Ju, whom the white-clad man originally found troublesome and did not want to fight, lost so quickly to Xiao Chun. After losing to Xiao Chun so quickly, his opponent became timid and left early. The white-clad man sheathed his saber, and the scarlet light in his eyes slowly faded. As he looked at Xiao Chun walking over, he revealed a sinister smile and said, "You finally revealed your true face? You have been having a lot of fun using my name these past few days." The person before Xiao Chun was the Northern Sea Alliance's bloody young master. Seeing that the other party had already revealed it, Xiao Chun no longer hid it. The identity of the bloody young master was no longer useful to him. He smiled faintly and said, likewise, "Brother Yi seems to have gained a lot while using this Xiao's name." Brother Yi, what the heavenly music sect old man said was true. You are the real Xiao Chun. Xing Qinyun, who landed with the old man, felt his legs go soft, and he could not stand stably. Originally, when Xing Qinyun heard the words of the heavenly music sect's Xiao Ju, he planned to run away immediately. However, when he thought about Xiao Chen's strength, he knew that he couldn't outrun him at all. He could only cling to a sliver of luck and brace himself to descend. Who knew, the moment he landed, he would hear the white-clothed man's words, completely extinguishing the last bit of hope in his heart. It turned out that the so-called Xiao Chun had been by his side all along. Xing Qinyun thought about what he kept saying about killing Xiao Chun and making a name for himself. His entire body trembled involuntarily. He smiled shakily and said, "Brother Xiao." Xiao Chun patted Xing Qinyun's shoulder and smiled. "Alliance Chief, don't panic. You are the one who will hunt down Xiao Chun and become famous throughout the world." Xing Qinyun smiled awkwardly and said, "Just a joke, just a joke. Brother Xiao, don't take it seriously." Rumble. Just at this moment, intense sounds came from the Immortal sect remnant, which was less than 5 kilometers away. Ethereal holy music came from the distance. A divine nation descended from the distant horizon. Tens of thousands of rays of golden light dazzled everyone's eyes even from 5 kilometers away. Diwak. When the white-clothed man, Yi Chen, saw this scene, he slowly spat out 3 words. He revealed a competitive look on his face. The old man smacked his lips and said, "He is probably breaking a restriction somewhere in the Immortal sect remnant. As long as there are natural treasures, there will be restrictions. That's normal. Without restrictions, after tens of thousands of years, all natural treasures would have rotted away," the white-clothed man said calmly. A cold moon hung high in the sky, and a cold palace appeared beside the divine kingdom. An azure-clad man stood on the palace, looking down on the world. 3,000 figures shot out of the palace, materializing 3,000 killing moves. Each move was different. However, under the illumination of the cold moon, they resonated with each other, drawing each other in. The azure-clad man on the palace looked boundlessly cold under the cold moon. He stretched out his hand, and the 3,000 killing moves soared into the sky like a blazing beacon. A strong aura spread out. A crack extended for 5 kilometers, extending to the feet of Xiao Chen and the others without slowing down. That is the Frost Moon Palace's outstanding talent, Xiao Qinghan. His strength rivals that of the older generation expert. He is an influential person in the primal chaos domain, Xing Qingyun said with a somewhat trembling voice. Xiao Qin was believed to have killed the Frost Moon Palace's inner sect elder. It was very likely that this person would come to kill him. Dong, dong, dong. Suddenly, a vast and majestic bell toll rang out. Rings of blue sound rings turned solid and spread out like ripples in the sky. Even from 5 kilometers away, the crowd heard the bell toll. It was ear-splitting, and their hearts pounded heavily. Needless to say, this person was definitely the heavenly music sect's Xia Dongyang, a famous person of the primal chaos domain's younger generation, someone as famous as Xiao Qinghan. Xiao Chen could vaguely see 7 beams of starlight descending, forming a complete constellation as they charged at the restriction below. The old man said with a fervent gaze, "The restriction that these people are charging at must have some valuable treasure. Otherwise, they would not have caused such a huge commotion." Yi Chen raised his eyebrows and smiled. "How about we go and take a look together?" The old man replied in a rush, "Sure. Lord Jiu, I have long wanted to go in and take a look. Unfortunately, I keep getting chased out." Xing Qingyun felt conflicted for a while. Then, he steeled his heart and decided to go and take a look as well. This time, he had gone overboard by following Xiao Chen. He could only try his luck and see if he could find some fortuitous encounter that could increase his strength and increase his chances of survival. Yi Chen looked at Xiao Chen. In the end, he still had to seek Xiao Chen's opinion. If he went alone, he would not have much confidence. Xiao Chen thought for a while before saying, "No way." The older generation experts of the Frost Moon Palace and the Heavenly Music sect are all present. Diwuk's 13 keepers are not far from them. We do not have much of a chance. Yi Chen revealed a disappointed expression. Then, he smiled and said, "White-robed Xiao Chen, it turns out that you only have this much courage. In that case, I'll go alone." Seeing Yi Chen turn into a beam of scarlet light and flee, Xiao Chen shook his head and did not say anything. Then, he turned to Xing Qingyun and said, "When we reach the Immortal Sect remnant, it will be hard for me to protect myself. I advise you not to go in, either. This is a tortoise spirit shield. I'll give it to you to protect yourself. It will allow you to leave the heavenly ruin wasteland safely." Xing Qingyun received the tortoise spirit shield, and his eyes immediately lit up. This was a bona fide king-grade secret treasure. Yet, Xiao Chen gave it away just like that. "Let's go, then. Stop wasting time. If you cannot survive in the future, you can come to the Haotian sect to look for me." Xing Qingyun laughed dryly and put away the tortoise spirit shield. Then, he said in a heroic manner, "Let's go. Although I did not manage to kill Xiao Chen, I killed a Frost Moon Palace's inner sect elder and entered the Heaven Character Wanted list. My name will spread throughout the primal chaos domain." When the old man saw Xiao Chen looking at him, he quickly said, "Little brother, don't worry. If I follow you, I will definitely be strong enough to protect myself. I will not be a burden to you. If I see that something is wrong, I will leave immediately." Xiao Chen was speechless. What is this fellow thinking? If I see that something is wrong, I will leave immediately. Why do I need you to follow me? You can follow me to gain benefits, but you have to listen to me. If you continue like earlier, running faster than a mouse the moment I fight someone, I will be the first to not let you off." The old man immediately showed a bitter expression. However, this Lord Jiu is really not good at fighting. Furthermore, this Lord Jiu is a mouse in the first place. Xiao Chen smiled and scolded, "Don't worry. I won't send you to your death. Given your sensitivity to danger, the restrictions of the outer sect should not pose a problem for you. Let's collect all the treasures of the outer sect first." Dilapidated palaces, pitch-black desolate land, corpses that no longer resembled humans, and a boundless bloody stench lingered in the turbid air. This was the immortal sect remnant that Xiao Qin saw. The ground was littered with cultivators killed by restrictions. The heavy bloody stench lingered in the surroundings, accompanied by the turbid air. Restrictions were everywhere, be it in the air or on the ground. There might be a hidden restriction somewhere that could claim a cultivator's life. Without the protection of a king-grade secret treasure, most of the cultivators were very careful, walking on the ground obediently. Of course, there were some bold and skilled people who did not care about the restrictions in the periphery. They forcefully pushed their way through, casually tearing apart all the restrictions. Xiao Qin saw 4 or 5 such people. They were all great Grandmaster-level martial sages on the same level as the Haotian sect's elder Han Qinghe, unrivaled Grandmaster-level martial sages. Right now, Xiao Qin was not a match for such great Grandmaster-level martial sages. He could only leave calmly. The restrictions in the periphery could not stop them at all. They also did not care about the treasures in the periphery. They all headed for the inner layer, where there were several intact palaces. 9 heavenly palaces floated at the summit of the mountain in the middle. The 7-colored light came from there, inspiring one's imagination. This Lord Jiu is right? There is definitely a profound copper mine under here, the old man said to Xiao Qin in a cocky manner as he emerged from a hole in the ground. Relying on the old man's sensitivity to danger, the restrictions in the periphery could hardly injure the two. The gray-haired old man immediately noticed the slightest peculiarity in the surroundings. When Xiao Qin broke the restrictions and waited for the other party to dig in, he would definitely gain something. In merely half a day, Xiao Qin had already collected 3 earth dragon fruits, an incomplete peak spirit vein, and more than 5 tons of heavenly gold rock and other divine materials. Earlier, the old man saw a few unremarkable black flowers in a crack. He immediately concluded that there was definitely a profound copper mine below. Xiao Qin looked at the neat hole and praised, "This hole is really beautiful. It is wide, bright, and firm." The old man squinted his eyes and smiled proudly. "This Lord Jiu has 3 great innate abilities: strong perception, fast digging, and sharp eyes. Indeed, it is just a mouse. The profound copper mine in there extends for 1 kilometer. After deducting the impurities, there is at least 10 tons of pure profound copper." Lord Jiu excitedly introduced the situation inside. Profound copper was a divine material equal to the black patterned gold. When refining a secret treasure, as long as one added a little more to it, it would immediately improve its quality significantly. A secret treasure without divine materials and a secret treasure with divine materials were worlds apart. Such divine materials were always in short supply. They could fetch a high price at any time. In some situations they could even be used as currency. 10 tons of profound copper was a large sum. However, compared to the 500 tons of divine materials required for the first layer of the blue dragon body nourishing art, it was still a long way off. With a thought, the strand of dragon energy that the blue dragon body nourishing art nurtured quickly circulated in Xiao Qin's body. Thunderous sounds came from his body, rumbling endlessly. Chapter 932. After swallowing tens of thousands of kilograms of divine materials, the blue dragon body nourishing art finally showed some use. Now, without burning vital qi, a casual punch from Xiao Qin could achieve half a dragon force, 2,500 tons of force. Bang! He punched the ground, and in an instant the ground cracked open. Countless pieces of mud flew out and floated in the air, blocking the sunlight in the sky. Xiao Qin withdrew his fist and stood upright. A huge pit appeared in front of him, 1 kilometer long and 500 meters deep. A layer of hard yellow copper soil was exposed at the bottom. This was the profound copper ore. Xiao Qin revealed an expression of joy as he merged his vital qi, quintessence, and mental energy. Then, he shouted and punched the huge yellow copper soil. Xiao Qin's fist gave off a bright light as it descended rapidly. It was like a treasured saber descending from the sky. It was incredibly sharp, able to split mountains. Kassier. Kassier. The yellow copper ore that stretched for a kilometer shattered into pieces of various sizes with the force of this punch. Lord Jiu was already numb to this. He sighed, only this brat can be so reckless. Even if the other martial sages discovered the profound copper ore, they would only be depressed, not knowing how to collect it. Xiao Chen stood in the air with his eyes closed. The swallowing power of the blue dragon body, nourishing art, started circulating. Thousands of pieces of yellow copper soil of various sizes floated around him. Xiao Chen's body turned into a spinning black hole. 360 acupoints opened, and a strong swallowing power sucked in the pure profound copper in the yellow copper soil into his body. Shwa! 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 A pile of impurities fell like rain. The scene looked very tyrannical and spectacular. After a while, Xiao Chen opened his eyes. He felt like he was trying to put out a burning cart of firewood with a cup of water. The strand of azure-colored dragon energy in his body had only grown slightly stronger. 10,000 kilograms of divine profound copper materials were swallowed just like that. Lord Jiu blinked at the side and said with a bitter expression, "Old brother Xiao, didn't I tell you to leave some for this Lord Jiu?" "Oh, sorry, I forgot," Xiao Chen said calmly as he landed beside the old man. Xiao Chen's insincere apology upset Lord Jiu. However, he could only scold him in secret. When searching for treasures in the remnant, the most dangerous thing was not the restrictions but the other cultivators. This was especially so in the primal chaos domain, where loose cultivators killed and robbed others of their treasures as if they were eating and drinking. If Lord Jiu came in and discovered any treasures, he would be chased out before he could do anything. At the very least, he would be able to stay with Xiao Chen. Xiao Chen also left him some natural treasures related to spirit plants. Never mind, Lord Jiu would not lower himself to the juniors, the old man thought. Boom! In the inner area of the Immortal sect remnant, a beam of golden light suddenly tore through the sky, illuminating the entire place. The roars of 10,000 beasts resounded. Xiao Chen and the old man could not help but look over. One bird beast after another flew out of the golden light. In an instant it was 1,000 meters. In an instant it had flown far away. The strong winds of the mutated beasts easily shattered several of the hidden restrictions in the air. Thousands of cultivators soared into the air in hot pursuit. Diwuk, the Frost Moon Palace's Xiao Qinghan, the Heavenly Music Sect's Xia Dongyang, and the other experts all chased after the Heavenly Phoenix. They even seemed to see the bloody young Master Yi Chen's figure inside. Lord Jiu's eyes lit up. Indeed, there are valuable treasures. Diwuk and the others broke the restrictions. These are all complete magic treasures. After refining them a little, they will become king-grade secret treasures. Xiao Chen was flabbergasted as well. There were at least 1,000 magic treasures flying out. Just this palace alone had so many magic treasures. Who knew how glorious the history of the sect under them was during the Immortal epoch? Qi! An azure wolf flew over Xiao Chen's head. Then, Xiao Chen made his move at lightning speed. A strand of saber qi of flawless bright moon descended from the sky and struck down the azure wolf. Xiao Chen stretched out his hand and grabbed, and the azure wolf landed in his grasp. It was a sword with a wolf head infused with many divine materials. Its blade was as clear as water, flickering with a dim five-colored light. Xiao Chen placed a spiritual mark on it and infused his magic energy into it. The sword shrank and turned into a sword pill that landed in his palm. Brat, hand over the azure wolf magic treasure. The three old men who were chasing the azure wolf descended. When they saw Xiao Chen put away the sword pill, they immediately berated him. Xiao Chen glanced at them indifferently. They were all peak superior grade martial sages, so he could not be bothered to answer. Magic energy burned and the sword pill enlarged. Then, as Xiao Chen pointed with his finger, it turned into a beam of azure light and flew out. Pu Ci. Before the three old men could react, blood spurted out of their neck. Their heads separated from their bodies, and they died without a complete corpse. Lord Zhu chuckled and quickly rushed forward. He quickly collected the superior-grade spatial rings of the three old men and even fiddled around with the corpses. After following Xiao Chen for so long, Lord Zhu was already very familiar with this set of actions. Soon, he returned. His eyes narrowed into slits as he said somewhat craftily, "Sorry, the three of them do not have any divine materials on them." Xiao Chen caressed the flickering wolf-head sword with a dim five-colored light. He entered deep thought, ignoring Lord Zhu's words. The speed of the wolf-head sword was extraordinary. However, it paled in comparison to Grandmaster-level martial sages. Given its speed, the other party could easily dodge it. Xiao Chen glanced at the situation in the sky. Nearly all the Grandmaster-level martial sages were attracted by that golden bright heavenly phoenix, chasing after it. On the other hand, no Grandmaster-level martial sages chased after the other mutated beasts. This was normal. Most Grandmaster-level martial sages had king-grade secret treasures. Ordinary treasures would not catch their attention. A thought occurred to Xiao Chen. He said, "Old Zhu, can your eyes remember all the magic treasures in the sky?" Birds and beasts flew wildly in the sky. Immortal chi spread everywhere and figures flickered. The entire sky above the outer sect turned chaotic. Lord Zhu casually glanced around and said in disdain, "How difficult is that? This Lord Zhu has a pair of shifty eyes. I might not be able to see other things, but when it comes to treasures, even the size of a mosquito, I can see them all." "Good. In that case, watch carefully. As long as someone snatches a magic treasure, immediately dig a hole and bring me over. Since those Grandmaster-level martial sages do not care for these treasures, I will reluctantly accept them all." When the old man heard this, his vision darkened and he nearly fainted. More than 1,000 magic treasures? That meant that he would have to dig more than 1,000 holes. "Lord Xiao, I'm calling you Lord now. Although this Lord Zhu is very fast at digging holes, you can't really treat me like a mouse. After digging more than 1,000 holes, my hand will probably break." Xiao Chen smiled calmly and said, "Strange. Didn't this Lord Zhu say earlier that you are a mouse? Now is the time for you to show off your skills." "Damn it, really damn it. I was just greedy for some divine materials earlier." The old man wanted to cry, but no tears came out. An aquamarine screen of light flew in the sky. Yun Tianhe and Gao Baiyu blocked a black tortoise. Gao Baiyu's speed increased, and he pulled the black tortoise into his palm. It was an ancient shield. Ripples of water flowed on the surface of the shield. The sound of gushing water came from it continuously. Gao Baiyu rejoiced as he carefully fiddled with the shield. "Great! It is actually a defensive magic treasure. The defenses of our heavenly music sect cultivators happen to be rather weak. If I turn this into a secret treasure, my strength will increase significantly." Envy appeared in Yun Tianhe's eyes. Defensive secret treasures were the most precious. Most cultivators hoped to have a good defensive secret treasure to protect their lives at a crucial moment. Gao Baiyu was in a good mood. When he saw the disappointment in Yun Tianhe's eyes, he smiled reassuringly and said, "Brother Yun, there is no need to be disappointed. There are many such magic treasures. Later, when we find another one, I will let you have it." "Ha! Many thanks, Brother Gao. Unfortunately, I do not know if it will still be a defensive magic treasure later." Yun Tianhe looked at the sky. The glistening golden heavenly phoenix flapped its wings in the distance, attracting the experts of the various sections. He said enviously, "That heavenly phoenix is the real good stuff. It is definitely a peak king-grade secret treasure. It has at least 100 divine materials infused into it." "Right. However, this is not the best treasure of the Immortal sect remnant. The 9 heavenly palaces are the core of the entire Immortal sect remnant. The treasures there will be even better. Perhaps even immortal tools will appear." "That is possible. I heard that the 3 great sects sent the blue-robed emperor. A few major characters from the Penglai Sea also came. Let's not talk about this for now. This is not something we can participate in. I still need to collect a few more magic treasures. That bastard Xiao Chen destroyed the chimes. We have to quickly make up for the losses. There is a huge snake over there. It is spitting out clouds. It should be something good. Let's go. As the two spoke, they continued to look for targets in the air. Just as they were about to get up, the ground suddenly rumbled, and a deep pit appeared. The two had not expected this at all. They immediately fell down. They felt very anxious and wanted to soar into the air. Starlight descended, and a fluttering scarlet banner blocked the two's path. The astral banner unfurled, and 7 resplendent and dazzling astral pearls completely blocked the sky above them. Yun Tianhe and Gao Baiyu looked around and discovered Xiao Chen and Lord Jiu not far away. Their expressions immediately changed drastically. The mountains and rivers meet, and the spring wind blows. The two of you, we meet again. When the starlight shone on Xiao Chen, it made his aura stand out. He revealed a faint smile on his delicate face. He looked cold and desolate, not showing any murderous intent. Xiao Chen, you actually still dare to appear? Gao Baiyu exclaimed hatefully. While standing on the starlight, Xiao Chen slowly stepped forward. Why would I not dare? Without a Grandmaster-level martial sage, killing you is as easy as killing dogs. When Yun Tianhe thought of Xiao Chen's horrifying strength, he could not help but reveal an expression of horror. We are elite disciples of the Heavenly Music Sect and the Frost Moon Palace. If you kill us, our fathers and seniors are of high positions. If you kill us, you will thoroughly offend the 9 ranks of the great families. Don't overestimate yourself. You are not as important as you think. I do not fear the Frost Moon Palace or the Heavenly Music Sect. After saying that, Xiao Chen did not waste any more words with the two. An azure light flashed. At such a close distance, the two could not dodge at all. The wolf-head sword chopped off their heads. Lord Jiu giggled and rushed forward. Then, he skillfully removed the two's spatial rings. When he returned, he respectfully handed the black tortoise shield to Xiao Chen. How many is this? Xiao Chen asked. Chapter 933. Lord Jiu quickly answered, That's 200 already. This Lord Jiu's hands are really sore. 200 is far from enough. Continue. Xiao Chen put away the astral banners, and Lord Jiu immediately leaped out, looking around with his beady eyes. He saw all the treasures flying around and immediately found his target. Then, he jumped down and moved his hand. In the blink of an eye, he dug out a tunnel hundreds of meters long. His speed was startlingly fast, simply breathtaking. Even Xiao Chen could not help but admire this. Some people's strengths could not be learned. Talent was talent. Even if a martial emperor came, he would be tongue-tied. The two worked very well together. After a few moves, Xiao Chen did not even need to show himself. Without anyone noticing, they collected more than 200 magic treasures, aside from the Heavenly Phoenix. Anyone who knew about this would be so startled that they could not close their mouth. Lord Jiu's innate talent was truly one of a kind. As the harvest increased, he became as tired as a dog. However, he was incredibly excited. Xiao Chen gave him all the spatial rings of the people he killed. There was only one condition: if there were divine materials in there, they would belong to him. The rest did not matter. While the Grandmaster-level martial sages chased after the Heavenly Phoenix, Xiao Chen comprehended a saber soul and reached peak medial-grade martial sage. There was no one who could match him. As dusk approached, there were still 100 magic treasures that had not been collected. Lord Jiu was simply too tired. After thinking for a while, Xiao Chen gave up. 900 magic treasures that could become king-grade secret treasures after some minor changes. This harvest was already frighteningly high. On a desolate mound in the Immortal Sect remnant, all sorts of magic treasures floated around Xiao Chen. All of them glowed with brilliant light and flickered with light. With one look, it was clear that they were infused with at least a few divine materials. Magic treasures did not pose any obstruction to Xiao Qun. He had magic energy and could use them directly. However, aside from the wolf head sword, none of these magic treasures caught his eye. It was not just him. Any one of these magic treasures would not catch the eye of any Grandmaster-level martial sage. Only a horrifying number would be shocking. 900 king-grade secret treasures were enough to equip a sect. On the other side, Lord Jiu was happily leaning against a rock. He took out a spatial ring and inspected it. If there were any divine materials, he would toss them out. Beside him was a 3-meter-tall pile of various divine materials. There were black patterned gold, profound copper, heavenly gold ore, and so on. Strictly speaking, there were divine materials in the black astral coins as well. However, the divine materials were rather rare, so Xiao Qun did not care about them. Hence, Lord Jiu benefited. The old man's beady eyes occasionally glanced at Xiao Qun, who was devouring magical treasures and divine materials. When he realized that Xiao Qun wasn't paying attention, he sneakily took a few spatial rings containing divine materials and embezzled them. This can't be considered corruption. Lord Jiu is exhausted, so no matter what, I have to take a little more. Right at this moment, a mournful wail suddenly sounded from the horizon. Xiao Qun looked up and saw a streak of bloody light in the west that was like the setting sun, dyeing the sky red for hundreds of miles. Someone finally took down the heavenly phoenix. Blood flowed endlessly from its neck, making the sky look like the setting sun. There were too many people fighting over the heavenly phoenix. The scene was extremely chaotic. Occasionally, someone got knocked into the air. Only a few people could remain standing. Naturally, the most dazzling person was Diwa. Lord Jiu laughed loudly and said, "What a bunch of fools! After fighting for so long, they did not obtain anything and got knocked into the air. There was only one heavenly phoenix. Only one person would obtain it. Most people would not end up with anything. All they hoped for was luck. However, how could there be so many luck in the world?" Right after the old man spoke, a beam of scarlet light landed on him. It was incredibly fast. Before the smile on Lord Jiu's face faded, he let out an intense, miserable shriek. His entire body smashed into the ground. The pile of several tons of divine materials at the side suddenly collapsed, burying the two of them. Pa la! Two arms stretched out and pushed the divine materials to the side. The bloody young Master Yi Chun emerged with a pale complexion and a head full of red hair, coughing blood. Xiao Chun smiled faintly and said, "Brother Yi, unexpectedly, we met again so soon." Yi Chen was stunned. When he saw the hundreds of magic treasures floating around Xiao Chen, his eyes went wide. He could not even be bothered to answer Xiao Chen's question. Yi Chen rubbed his eyes vigorously before he was sure that he was not hallucinating. He asked in disbelief, How did you do it? This is too ridiculous." "Ridiculous, my ass. Your butt is above this Lord Jiu's head. Quickly go away. This Lord Jiu was just greedy for some divine materials. There is no need to suffocate to death." Curses came from below. Yi Chen stood up awkwardly and pulled Lord Jiu, who nearly fainted. When the two saw Lord Jiu's miserable state, the lips of the usually proud Yi Chen twitched a few times. Then, he apologized a few times. After the two rested for a while, Xiao Chen asked out of curiosity, "Who sent you flying? Based on your condition, you seem to be severely injured. Which great Grandmaster-level martial sage did it?" When Yi Chen heard that, he coughed awkwardly. Then, he whispered, "I was sent flying by a woman. I was only one step away from obtaining that heavenly phoenix fan. However, for some reason, a woman appeared beside Diwuk and sent me flying with one palm strike." As Yi Chen spoke, he clearly felt dissatisfied. No one would be happy about being sent flying by a sneak attack. The one who attacked was Tian Yushi, the girl who always accompanied Diwuk. She was silent but always made a move at the crucial moment. When Xiao Chen heard that, he immediately knew who did it. If nothing unexpected happened, the Heavenly Phoenix fan was in Diwok's hands. The blood of the Heavenly Phoenix dyed the sky red for 50 kilometers around, not scattering for a long time. It was like the setting sun in the paper-white sky, a ghastly sight. The Heavenly Phoenix's wings flickered with golden flames, forming a beautiful folding fan. As the flames danced, the melodious cries of the Heavenly Phoenix could be heard. His voice was filled with holy might, causing everyone to feel a sense of pressure. As Diwok held the Heavenly Phoenix fan, a smile appeared on his face. He moved his hand, casually toying with this powerful treasure fan. An indistinct divine kingdom appeared behind him. Several praises came from the divine kingdom, turning into the power of faith and pouring into Diwok's body. Rings of golden light appeared behind Diwok, making him look like a deity descending, exuding a supreme might. Congratulations, Divine Son. This fan contains at least 1,000 divine materials. There is even the Holy Spirit of a Heavenly Phoenix in it. If you refine it in the future, it will definitely become an Emperor-grade secret treasure. One of the 13 Watchers stepped forward and praised. At the side, the heavenly music sects Xia Dongyang and the Frost Moon Palaces, Shao Qinghan stared at the golden bright Heavenly Phoenix fan with fervent expressions. Unfortunately, they were too late. In the end, Diwok obtained the Heavenly Phoenix fan. Under the Scarlet Sun, several Grandmaster-level martial sages and loose cultivators of the various sects all looked at the Heavenly Phoenix fan with fervent gazes. However, they were very rational and did not make a move on Diwok. If it were someone else who snatched the Heavenly Phoenix fan, the chaotic situation would not have calmed down so quickly. Shao Qinghan and Xia Dongyang went to Diwok's side and performed cupped fist salute. Congratulations, Divine Son, on obtaining the Heavenly Phoenix fan. Diwok had a head of white hair and an extraordinary aura. He gently closed the Heavenly Phoenix fan and tossed it to Xia Dongyang. Brother Xia, take this Heavenly Phoenix fan as a greeting gift for agreeing to participate in the Heroes' Convention. Xia Dongyang was slightly stunned. He had not expected Diwok to be so generous, giving away the Heavenly Phoenix fan that he just obtained. This was a peak magic treasure of an immortal sect. After refining it slightly and using it as his life magic treasure, it would definitely become an Emperor-grade secret treasure in the future. Xia Dongyang received the fan, and joy flashed on his face. He said sincerely, Divine Son truly lives up to being an outstanding talent of this age, the leader of our younger generation. Dongyang will definitely lead the disciples of my heavenly music sect to support you with all our might in the Heroes' Convention 2 years from now. Shao Qinghan felt somewhat upset in his heart. Diwok invited him, but he did not immediately agree. He could not help feeling some regret. Divine Son, although there are many palaces in the inner sect, it will not be easy to find another Heavenly Phoenix fan. Why did you give it away? The leader of the Keepers sent a voice projection to Diwok. There is no problem. These are all external items. As long as the Heroes' Convention is held smoothly, I will be able to gather the luck of the entire Kunlun realm. At that time, I will be able to accomplish it without spilling blood. The Heavenly Phoenix fan is nothing compared to the ambition of my ancestors for tens of thousands of years. Diwok replied in secret. With a flip of his hand, he took out a piece of 10,000-year-old profound copper. Then, he said politely to Shao Qinghan, Brother Shao, this piece of 10,000-year-old profound copper is equivalent to 50 tons of ordinary profound copper. Whether you agree to my invitation or not, treat it as a greeting gift. Shao Qinghan thought to himself, this move of Diwok is truly brilliant. Shao Qinghan had a competitive heart. In this great age, he wanted to stand alone. However, from the looks of it now, the situation seemed to be on Diwok's side. If Shao Qinghan did not participate in the Heroes' Convention and leave his name on the Hero Monument, it would be difficult for him to gain a foothold. After thinking for a while, Shao Qinghan accepted the 10,000-year-old profound copper. He smiled and said, "Divine Son is so polite. If Qinghan still does not know what's good for him, it would be inexcusable. 2 years from now, I will definitely lead the Frost Moon Palace disciples to support the Heroes Convention." A magic treasure easily subdued these two influential people of the primal chaos domain. Diwuk's means were indeed incredible. This attracted the attention of several older generation Grandmaster-level martial sages in the surrounding crowd. It would be hard for such a person not to rise up in this age. Diwuk glanced at the few people in Buddhist robes in the north and reminded, "Brother Dongyang, be careful later. I believe that those immortal cultivators from the Penglai Sea will make a move on you." Xia Dongyang smiled and said, "Many thanks for the Divine Son's reminder. I know that these people are not easy to deal with. However, this is not the Penglai Sea. They will not be able to do anything. In that case, I will not say anything more. Let's go to the heavenly palaces. I wonder if there are any great Grandmaster-level martial sages who can knock open the doors of the heavenly palaces." Diwuk's group stopped chatting. They all circulated their secret treasures to protect themselves, easily destroying the restrictions along the way. Then, they flew to the 9 heavenly palaces at the summit. When the others saw the situation, they locked onto a heavenly palace and flew over as well. On the slope, Yi Chun sat cross-legged and circulated his energy to treat his injuries. Lord Jiu was still tidying up the divine materials in his spatial ring. As for Shao Chen, he was consuming magic treasures and cultivating the first layer of the blue dragon body nourishing art. Chapter 934. Each of the 900 magic treasures contained 10 kinds of divine materials, no less than 500 kilograms of each. However, refining them a second time would always result in a loss. Shao Chen swallowed about 800 magic treasures before barely managing to cultivate the first layer of the blue dragon body nourishing art. With the nourishment of the 500 kilograms of divine materials, the faint azure-colored dragon qi in Shao Chen's body finally stopped being hazy and indistinct. It turned into a clear strand of dragon qi that swam around his body. With a thought, Shao Chen opened all the acupoints in his body. Dragon roars rang out in his body, filling his entire body with explosive energy. Shao Chen stood up and punched the ground. 1 dragon force, 5,000 kilograms of force, exploded out. A crack extended for 10 kilometers, splitting the flat ground in half. It looked extremely horrifying. Furthermore, this was just the force of 1 punch from Shao Chen. When Yi Chen, who had mostly recovered from his injuries, saw this scene, he exclaimed, 800 magic treasures, and he swallowed them all. What cultivation technique is this brat cultivating? Why is the requirement so horrifying? When Yi Chen saw the strength that Shao Chen displayed, he did not feel envious. Even if Shao Chen had a cultivation technique like this, he would not cultivate it. 800 magic treasures were equivalent to the savings of a rank 8 sect. Such a cultivation technique would not last long in the end. No sect could afford it. 500 kilograms of divine materials nourished 1 dragon force. The second layer required 10 dragon force before one could condense the blue dragon battle armor. The amount of divine materials required was indeed astronomical. Shao Chen withdrew his fist and looked at the remaining 100 magic treasures. Then, he stretched out his hand and placed them in his universe ring. He temporarily gave up on cultivating the blue dragon body nourishing art. "Brother Yi, what are your thoughts now?" Shao Chen asked as he walked over. A murderous intent flashed in Yi Chen's eyes. Naturally, catching up to Diwuk and returning the favor to that woman. I have never suffered such a huge loss before. Shao Chen smiled faintly and said, "In that case, I wish you success. I won't send you off. They are going to the heavenly palace now. Don't tell me you don't want to go?" The bloody young master Yi Chen said as he looked straight at Shao Chen. Shao Chen said calmly, "What's wrong? If I go, will I be slapped back like you?" Yi Chen felt stifled. He said sullenly, "Indeed, you are still as cowardly as before. No wonder Yi Chen, look down on you for hanging out with this scoundrel." Lord Jiu had a depressed look on his face. In his heart, he felt that the burly man was innocent and had been shot while lying down. Xiao Chen didn't argue with him. "Whatever you say, I won't go to the heavenly palace now." Yi Chen flung his sleeves and snorted coldly. Then, he picked up his saber and moved further away from Xiao Chen. Xiao Chen watched as the other party disappeared from his sight. He shook his head slightly. What a pity! Xiao Chen opened his mouth and spat out the dragon phoenix cauldron. Then, he waved his hand and poured all the divine materials beside Lord Jiu into the cauldron. At the same time, the lunar true flame in Xiao Chen's left eye shot out. This was still not enough. Xiao Chen kept only half of the remaining 100 magic treasures. Then, he tossed the rest into the cauldron and melted them. Xiao Chen stretched out his hand and grasped the Big Dipper banner flickering with tricolor light. After the divine materials in the cauldron were extracted, he tossed the Big Dipper banner into the cauldron. The Big Dipper banner started to undergo another transformation. Naturally, Xiao Chen wanted to enter the heavenly palace of the Immortal sect remnant. However, without strength, what could he do? Before a great Grandmaster level martial sage, he could not even block one move. The great Grandmaster level martial sage could send him out with one slap. He would just be seeking his own humiliation. Di Wuk had roped in a group of geniuses. Be it the 13 keepers behind him or the divine daughter, Tianyu Shi, who he would never abandon. Just Xiao Qinghan and Xia Dongyang were already difficult to deal with. With such confidence, Di Wuk dared to move around without fear. Even a regular great Grandmaster level martial sage would have to retreat when they saw him. Xiao Chen was alone, and there were countless people who wanted to kill him. If he did not prepare more trump cards, there would only be one result: death. The 9 heavenly palaces gave off a multicolored light, illuminating for 50 kilometers around. Rumor had it that there were immortal tools. Immortal tools and Emperor-grade secret treasures were existences on par with each other. The 3 basic symbols of the 9 ranks of the great families were Emperor Wu, an Emperor-grade secret treasure, and a Holy Spirit vein. Only with all 3 could one be considered the 9 ranks of the great families. The number of these 3 represented the strength and accumulations of a rank 9. If there really was an immortal tool, the various 9 ranks of the great families would definitely send out the blue-robed emperor to fight for it. In the past few days, explosions rang out endlessly in the sky. Lightning flashed and thunder roared. Occasionally, one could see even more horrifying scenes of the sky tearing apart. That was when a great Grandmaster level martial sage expert brought out the might of a king-grade secret treasure to 120%, creating a temporary tear in space. The space of the Kunlun realm was very stable. Without reaching the level of the blue-robed emperor, one could not tear space, no matter how strong one was, no matter how strong one was, no matter how strong one was. Now, before the blue-robed emperor appeared, he already saw the scene of space tearing. This showed how strong the restrictions of the 9 heavenly palaces were. However, all this did not have much to do with Xiao Chen. He was currently infusing hundreds of tons of divine materials into the Big Dipper banner, allowing the 7 astral pearls to reach an unprecedented height. As the divine materials infused in, starlight fell from the sky. At first, it turned into specks of starlight. Finally, it turned into a curtain of starlight, encasing the surrounding 1 kilometer in the night. This attracted several cultivators to come and take a look. They all thought that a strange treasure had appeared and were incredibly excited. Xiao Chen used lightning-quick means, killing all the cultivators who came near. 3 days later, the Big Dipper banner finally gained new life. Its quality improved again, reaching the level of a peak king-grade secret treasure. Furthermore, it had 3 different states of massacre, death, and ruin. It could suppress secret treasures of the same grade. With this astral banner, Shao Chen was confident of killing the demonic brilliant two elders, not giving them a chance to flee. He would also be able to hold his own against great Grandmaster-level martial sages. He would have no problem protecting himself. Withdraw. The starlight filling the sky gathered. Shao Chen grasped the Big Dipper banner. Red chi of massacre, black chi of death, and gray chi of ruin mixed with the starlight, flickering endlessly. The banner unfurled, and the 7 astral pearls gave off a dazzling light. This was especially so for the Dubhe, Merak, and Fekta astral pearls, which were infused with thrones. They looked even stranger. As Shao Chen held the banner, he casually swung it. Starlight spread out like the wind, surging out. Several hidden restrictions in the sky instantly broke, bursting out with dazzling light. Such might was obvious. However, Shao Chen frowned slightly, feeling dissatisfied. Compared to the previous fusion, when the 3 thrones underwent a complete transformation, this was only a quantitative change, and not a qualitative one. If Shao Chen wanted a qualitative change, he would have to find the other 4 thrones or obtain the inheritance of the Big Dipper Palace and use the Astral Palace's secret technique to activate the Big Dipper banner. Only then could the might of the Big Dipper banner truly be brought out. Bang! Dirt flew everywhere on the ground. Lord Jiu leaped out with a shifty look on his face. He said excitedly, "It's broken! The restrictions of the 9 astral palaces are all broken. The strength of these great Grandmaster-level martial sages is truly horrifying." A thought occurred to Shao Chen. He carefully put away the Big Dipper banner and asked, "How many great Grandmaster-level martial sages did you see?" Lord Jiu thought for a while before replying, 4 of them are powerhouses of the primal chaos domain, infamous loose cultivators. 3 of them are inner sect first elders of the Muddy Sky Gate, the Frost Moon Palace, and the Heavenly Music sect. The other 2 seem to be experts from the Heavenly Starry Ocean. There should be some hidden great Grandmaster-level martial sages that I did not notice. On the surface, there were now 9 great Grandmaster-level martial sages, more than Shao Chen expected. Shao Chen looked at the 9 astral palaces in the distance. After a while, a brilliant light flashed in his eyes. He said calmly, "Lead the way, then." Lord Jiu's eyes flashed with excitement. The restrictions of the 9 astral palaces had been broken one after another. He had been itching for a long time. However, Shao Chen remained unmoved, focusing all his attention on refining the Big Dipper banner. Now, Shao Chen was finally going to make his move. This was a person that Lord Jiu could not see through at all. To Lord Jiu, Shao Chen was like a dormant true dragon. When he did not move, he would be indifferent. When he moved, his name would spread everywhere, able to pierce through the sky. Lord Jiu, who was already very familiar with the route, quickly led the way. Along the way, he saw dilapidated palaces everywhere. Occasionally, the light of treasures soared into the sky. However, these did not attract much attention. The 9 astral palaces floating at the top of the mountain attracted the attention of all the cultivators here. They could not wait to obtain stronger magic treasures. The higher Shao Chen went, the more eye-catching the 7-colored light becoming dazzling and dazzling. The 9 astral palaces were arranged in a ring with the mountain as the center. As Shao Chen stood at the summit, he sensed his surroundings. He felt that the 9 astral palaces seemed to form a formation, suppressing something at the top of the mountain. It was suppressing something at the top of the mountain. The flat mountain top was like a jade platform, nothing could be seen. However, when Shao Chen punched the summit, the force of 1 dragon force, 5,000 tons of force, struck it, it did not budge at all. Not a single rock on the entire mountain moved. It was as if the flat jade platform had absorbed his energy. This further confirmed Shao Chen's guess. The 9 majestic astral palaces were indeed a formation. Since it was a formation, it had to have a formation core. He did not know which heavenly palace was the formation core. If he could control the heavenly palace where the formation core was, he would be able to control it. If he could control the astral palace where the formation core was, he would be able to break the seal and let the mysterious thing at the bottom of the mountain see the light of day again. It looked like the rumors of an immortal equipment here were not baseless. Xiao Chun was not the only one who figured out the secret of the 9 astral palaces. However, which astral palace was the formation core? Old brother Xiao, have you chosen? This Lord Jiu cannot wait any longer, the old man urged as he rubbed his hands together. Xiao Chun recovered his wits and laughed self-mockingly. So what if I find the formation core? When the immortal equipment appears, the blue-robed emperor will definitely make a move. A regular king-grade magic treasure would not be able to attract the blue-robed emperor's attention. However, when the immortal equipment appears, the blue-robed emperor will definitely make a move. Before the blue-robed emperor, even great grandmaster-level martial sages would be trash. Xiao Qin was just a peak medial-grade martial sage. What was the point of thinking so much? The current him could not compete for the immortal equipment. Xiao Qin leaped up and entered a astral palace. The sounds of intense fighting immediately entered his ears, and a vast world appeared before him. The astral palace was several times larger than it looked from the outside. A large number of magic treasures floated in the palace. The auras of several of them were no weaker than the heavenly phoenix fan. These were peak secret treasures infused with thousands of divine materials, treasures that even great grandmaster-level martial sages would be tempted by. However, every magic treasure had strong restrictions around it. Breaking them would not be easy. Chapter 935. There were sword formations, flame beacons, illusion formations, baleful ice formations, devouring demonic formations, and all sorts of horrifying restrictions, dazzling the eyes. A miserable shriek resounded. Xiao Chun turned his head to look and saw a peak superior grade martial sage using a secret treasure. This martial sage wanted to forcefully break a restriction to snatch the treasure. However, a sword chi pierced through him, instantly killing him. When Xiao Chen looked deeper, the light of treasures there became even more intense. Even when he extended his spiritual sense, he could not clearly make out what was happening. It was all Grandmaster-level martial sages fighting. Bang! Just as Xiao Chen and Lord Jiu were about to move forward, a white-haired figure suddenly landed at their feet. When Xiao Chen saw this person's face, he could not help smiling faintly. "Brother Yi, we meet again." This person was Yi Chen. However, he did not look like he was in good condition. He was severely injured and someone was chasing him. "Yi Chen, weren't you very arrogant in the heavenly starry ocean back then? Why are you lying down now?" Starlight filled the sky as a few people arrived on the starlight. The person leading them held an astral banner as he strode over with great strides, showing an incredibly arrogant expression. Xiao Chen raised his eyebrows. The astral banner in this person's hand had 7 astral pearls embroidered on it. It was the Big Dipper banner, a complete and flawless astral banner. When the girl beside this person saw Xiao Chen, she immediately cried out, "Senior brother Luoqi, he is Xiao Chen. He is the one who snatched away our life Big Dipper banners." Yi Chen coughed a few times and stood up with a smile. "Luoqi, you are only this capable. If not for Di Wuk and the 13 keepers injuring me, killing you would be as easy as killing an ant. Even at death's door, you still dare to be so stubborn." Luoqi waved the Big Dipper banner. As the banner fluttered, a strong wind formed by astral energy surged over. Yi Chen swung his saber to block. However, he could not help vomiting another mouthful of blood as he crashed into Xiao Chen. Xiao Chen stepped forward and placed his hand on Yi Chen's shoulder. Then, he applied some force and removed the force from Yi Chen's body. Then, he pulled Yi Chen behind him. Luoqi stood in the air and frowned. He held the Big Dipper banner and said arrogantly, "Xiao Chen, I've heard of you. All the experts in this hall want to kill you. Hand over my martial brother and sister's natal zhou, and I'll pretend I didn't see you." Xiao Chen smiled faintly and said without a care, "However, I saw you." "But I saw you?" When Luo Qi of the Seven Stars Palace heard this, he was so angry that he laughed. This fellow was crazy. All he had to do now was shout, and a large number of people would immediately come to take his life. Yet, he still dared to be so arrogant. "I obtained 10 types of divine materials from Di-Wuk, 5,000 kilograms of each. Now, this Big Dipper banner is no longer the same as it was in the past. Even the life flags of the Big Dipper Palace's elders cannot compare to mine." Luo Qi stretched out his hand, and the Big Dipper banner unfurled. Starlight flickered, and the 7 astral pearls gave off a dazzling light. The tip of the banner pointed at Xiao Chen. The starlight in the sky immediately gathered together, giving off a dazzling cold light. It looked like it would shoot out at any moment, destroying everything before it. Luo Qi's gaze turned cold as he continued, "Where do you get your confidence from? To think that you dare to be so unbridled before me. Hand over my martial brother and sister's life flags. Otherwise, I will shout and you will die a tragic death." Xiao Chen smiled coldly and said, "In that case, go ahead and shout. Try and see if you can shout my name, Xiao Chen." Luo Qi laughed loudly and said sullenly, "Is your name some kind of taboo? I will shout it now and let everyone in the Heavenly Palace know. The many experts will crush you to bits." Luo Qi did not fear Xiao Chen at all. He took a deep breath and circulated his veritable essence energy, preparing to let the heavenly music sect, the Frost Moon Palace, the many loose cultivators, and the sects whose disciples Xiao Chen killed know. Xiao! Law energy surged, and veritable essence energy surged. The word Xiao resounded like thunder, deafening. However, Luo Qi could not say the final word, Chen. A resplendent starlight, several times stronger than the light of the astral banner in Luo Qi's hand, suddenly shot out from Xiao Chen's hand, instantly blinding Luo Qi for a short while. Boundless massacre Qi surged out. The tip of the banner was like a spear tip, stabbing into Luo Qi's throat, preventing him from saying the last word he wanted to say. Before Luo Qi died, he did not see how Xiao Chen attacked. Bang! Starlight exploded, and the tricolored lights of massacre, death, and ruin flickered. Luo Qi's head directly exploded. Xiao Chen shook his wrist, and the Big Dipper banner unfurled. A red light flashed, and the fluttering banner swept through the mountains and rivers, turning Luo Qi's fellow disciples into bits. The newly refined Big Dipper banner, together with the massacre throne, revealed its sharpness and instantly dealt with this group of people. Lord Jiu, who was at the side, quickly flew over. His movements were extremely practiced, and he immediately pulled out the spatial rings of these people. Yi Chen was flabbergasted. The sharpness that Xiao Chen displayed earlier even made him feel some fear. This was completely different from Xiao Chen's calm and delicate air. "This is why you refused to leave that day. What secret treasure is this?" Yi Chen asked. "The cycle banner. I refined it myself. Now is not the time to talk. The commotion that Luo Qi caused earlier will definitely attract some people over. Let's leave first." Xiao Chen put away the astral banner and led the two away. It was clearly inappropriate to call this banner the Big Dipper banner. After infusing the massacre, death, and ruin thrones into it, it was already very different from the Big Dipper Palace's Big Dipper banner. The word cycle happened to represent Xiao Chen's ambition. Not long after the three of them left, 2 figures arrived in a flash. One was a man and one was a woman, both with white hair and delicate faces. With one look, it was clear that they were from the deity race. One of them was the divine daughter, Tianyu Shi, and the other was a member of the Keepers. When the deity race man saw Luo Qi's headless corpse, he frowned and said, although this fellow was not strong, the divine son still needed him to establish a connection with the Zodiac Hall. If he just died like that, it will be somewhat problematic. We can only get Wuk to personally make a trip to the heavenly starry ocean, Tianyu Shi said after checking the surroundings. Before he died, he said the word Shao. Could the one who killed him be Shao Chen? It doesn't seem like it. The lingering astral energy in the air is also the remnant of 3 high-rank states. It should have been 4 people working together to instantly kill him. Tianyu she analyzed rationally. However, the word Shao is also a clue. Shao Chen might be among them. Let's go back. Golden light flickered. The two ignored the magic treasures in the restrictions along the way and the cultivators breaking the restrictions. They flew directly to the center of the Heavenly Palace. The Heavenly Palace was vast, filled with restrictions and treasure lights. Shao Chen led the two into an empty restriction. After searching through the spatial ring of the Medicine God Valley's Mr. Qin, he found a sage-grade medicinal pill for treating injuries and handed it to the bloody young master Yi Chen. Yi Chen was severely injured. After thanking Shao Chen, he received the medicinal pill. After Yi Chen swallowed the medicinal pill, he felt his injuries recover quickly. His expression turned strange. In mere moments, his internal injuries had recovered by 80 to 90%. You gave me a sage-grade medicinal pill for treating injuries? Yi Chen asked as he stood up. Shao Chen nodded. Sage-grade medicinal pills were incredibly precious. However, as a Grandmaster Alchemist of the Medicine God Valley, Mr. Qin had collected quite a few. He had a bottle of medicinal pills for treating injuries, detoxifying, strengthening one's foundation, and strengthening one's essence. Each bottle contained 10 medicinal pills. To Shao Chen, these were not very rare items. Yi Chen thought for a while before saying, "In the future, when we go to the heavenly starry ocean, I will return this favor. Goodbye." Shao Chen could not help feeling stunned for a moment. What is this fellow trying to do? Could it be that he still remembers Tianyu Shi's palm strike and wants to get into trouble again? Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Soon Yi Chen returned. Shao Chen thought that he had thought things through. Who knew? Yi Chen said. Do you have any more sage-grade medicinal pills for treating injuries? I'll keep one as a backup. Shao Chen smiled faintly. Then, he tossed all but one of the jade bottles containing medicinal pills for treating injuries to him. Yi Chen caught the jade bottle and gave Shao Chen a deep look. Then, he turned around and left. Lord Zhu smiled heartlessly and said, "Soon, we will see him fall at our feet again." Shao Chen did not reply. He could tell that Yi Chen was proud and arrogant. Wherever he fell, he would definitely climb back up. However, it was easier said than done to injure Tianyu Shi. If it were a one-on-one fight, Yi Chen might have a 50% chance of victory. However, the possibility of doing so while surrounded by a group of experts was practically zero. Boom! With one punch, one dragon force erupted with 5,000 tons of force. Shao Chen casually broke the restrictions of this place and grabbed a pagoda-shaped magic treasure. After taking a few glances, Shao Chen saw that there were less than 10 kinds of divine materials in it. He lost interest and tossed it to Lord Zhu. Lord Zhu happily received it. He thought to himself, no matter how bad a king-grade magic treasure is, I can sell it for a lot of money. Along the way, Shao Chen no longer hid his strength. He broke all the restrictions along the way and headed straight for the inner part of the palace, where the treasure light was the strongest. That was a peak king-grade magic treasure. Shao Chen had magic energy and did not need to refine it. He could use it and bring out its might to its fullest. Shao Chen's possessiveness over it was stronger than anyone else's. The restrictions broke one after another, attracting the attention of the surrounding cultivators. However, Shao Chen was too fast. All they saw was a flash of white light, and the restrictions and the magic treasures in them disappeared. After passing the outer layer, Shao Chen stopped. In front of him was a restriction at the very edge of the inner layer. The restriction was a sword formation. 9 black swords stood in all directions according to a profound position, encasing the space. Black sword chi leaped out from the sword formation, carrying a dense death chi. It was like the scythe of the Grim Reaper, deterring anyone from clashing with it. The sword chi was present at all times. Even if one had a king-grade secret treasure to protect them, they would find it hard to move. Shao Chen looked down and saw a few cultivators lying on the ground of the restriction. They were all Grandmaster-level martial sages, completely devoid of life force and in a miserable state. Shao Chen could clearly feel that the restrictions here were completely different from the ones he casually broke outside. The difference was like heaven and earth. There was a pair of white wings in the restriction made of an unknown holy beast's bone. The wings fluttered in the air, moving strangely fast. Two people chased closely behind the wings. However, they brushed past each other several times. They even nearly got injured by the sword chi containing the death chi. When Shao Chen clearly saw the appearances of the two, he revealed a smile on his face. As the saying went, it was a small world. Chapter 936. Most of the people in the inner hall wanted to kill him. Shao Chen had already made preparations. However, he had not expected that the first one he would face would be the demonic brilliant two elders, who had forced him to flee in a sorry state back then. Within the sword formation, the black sword chi whizzed over, roaring madly. A secret treasure hovered above the heads of the demonic brilliant two elders, blocking the attacks of the death sword chi. The hemp-robed old man held a red flaming fan above his head. Shao Chen had experienced the might of this fan before. With one fan, the sky changed color, and flames burned for 50 kilometers around. These two were only slightly weaker than great Grandmaster-level martial sages, possessing the might of Peak King-grade secret treasures. The might of Peak King-grade secret treasures could be brought out at 100%. Compared to a regular Grandmaster-level martial sage, who could only bring out the might of an ordinary King-grade secret treasure, the difference was like heaven and earth. The middle-aged man's secret treasure was a scarlet military insignia. It contained the souls of many soldiers and materialized strong killing chi. When combined with the army killing fist that he cultivated, its might was unparalleled. The two's life king-grade secret treasures were not defensive secret treasures. They could only be used for offense. When facing the attacks of the death sword chi, the two could not go all out. They had to divert some attention to block these sword chi. If the two had a strong defensive secret treasure, they could focus all the might of their life's secret treasure on subduing the white wings. They would not have to put in as much effort as they did now. Whoosh! The white wings looked like they were alive as they flapped gently. Countless bright feathers fell down, giving off a crystalline light. Then, they tossed the demonic brilliant two elders aside. Damn it! Rage flashed on the middle-aged man's face. When he punched, boundless killing chi surged out, shattering the sword chi flying at him. However, the sword chi did not stop. The white wings led the two to a tribulation point in the formation. When they landed, boundless sword chi surged over like a ferocious army of the dead. Illusions appeared before the two's eyes as they got trapped in the ancient underworld river battlefield. The sword chi was like a ferocious army of the dead moving around. Illusions appeared before the two's eyes as they got trapped in the ancient underworld river battlefield. With a thought, Shao Chen, who was hidden in a small restriction, prepared to make a move to snatch the treasures. However, just as he was about to step out of the door, he sensed 4 powerful auras and retracted his foot. Ha ha ha! The demonic brilliant two elders, who are somewhat famous in the profound domain, are only SOSO. We, the Black Mountain 4 bandits, will be taking this Peak King-grade magic treasure. Within the Death Sword formation, 4 old men jumped in. The one in the lead was full of energy, his face was red, his hair was black, and he wore a large black robe with wide sleeve. His cultivation was unfathomable, no weaker than the demonic brilliant two elders. The other 3 old men were slightly weaker. However, they were all Grandmaster-level martial sages. Each of them held a high-quality king-grade secret treasure in their hands as they destroyed the death sword chi flying over. Lord Jiu, who was cowering in the restriction, said with a grave expression, To think that these 4 old fellows came as well. Xiao Chun was surprised. You know him? Ha. I have never seen them before. However, most of the loose cultivators in the primal chaos domain have heard of these 4 old fellows. Their boss, Meng Bai, ranks in the top 20 of the primal chaos domain's evil cultivator ranking. With his demon-subduing staff technique, who knows how many aggrieved spirits he has killed. The primal chaos domain was the lair of all the evil cultivators in the world. For this Meng Bai to rank in the top 20 of the evil cultivator ranking, he definitely had something extraordinary about him. Xiao Chun started calculating in his heart. If it were just the demonic brilliant 2 elders, he would still be confident of killing them and snatching their treasures. However, now that the Black Mountain 4 bandits had arrived, he would have to plan properly. Xiao Chun withdrew the killing chi in his eyes and focused his spiritual sense in his eyes. He peered through the layers of death sword chi and saw the situation of the sword formation. Bang! Although the demonic brilliant 2 elders were trapped in the killing illusion formation, they were not ignorant of the situation outside. When they sensed a strong enemy approaching, they stopped hiding their strength. They quickly used their secret treasures and charged out of the illusion formation in one go. Meng Bai, you old fogey! How dare you try to snatch treasures from us, the demonic brilliant 2 elders? Are you tired of living? The middle-aged man had a fiery temper. When he leaped out, he immediately threw a punch. The army-killing fist, which was accompanied by the army of heroic spirits in the scarlet military emblem, was like a huge army charging over. Meng Bai chuckled and did not stop, continuing to grab the white wing. Meng Bai's 3 companions flew over and executed their various means. With the combined strength of the 3, they blocked the middle-aged man's tyrannical punch. The scarlet heroic spirits scattered in the sword formation. The death sword chi drifting in the air was easily shattered. The 9 black swords that formed the sword formation all trembled slightly. This showed how tyrannical the might of this punch was. When Xiao Chun saw this scene, his eyes suddenly lit up. He stared at one of the black swords for a while before slowly shifting his gaze away. Just as Meng Bai was about to grab the white wing, a huge flaming hand with clear patterns descended from the sky and smashed at Meng Bai. Bang! Meng Bai cursed, and a 2-meter-long black demon slaughtering staff appeared in his hand. He swung it through the air and shattered the huge flaming hand into countless flames. The hemp-robed old man smiled faintly as he held the flaming fan in his hand. Then, he blocked Meng Bai and said, "Brother Meng Bai, it has been more than 10 years since we last met. Your infamy has become even greater. Now you even dare to snatch the things of us, the demonic brilliant 2 elders." A ferocious glint flashed in Meng Bai's eyes. He smiled sinisterly and said, "You dog! 10 years ago you beat me up like a dog in the profound domain. Now I will beat you until you kneel and beg for mercy." Meng Bai's figure flashed, and his staff descended from the sky. An incredibly huge, ferocious, ancient Buddhist sect guardian deity appeared behind him. The guardian deity roared at the hemp-robed old man. With one roar, it shattered the death sword chi. The hemp-robed old man remained unruffled. He gently fanned the flaming fan, and 999 flaming tornadoes howled out, blocking the demon-slaughtering Vajra's sky-breaking staff strike. Be it the momentum of the burning clouds or the momentum of the demon-slaughtering Vajra that Meng Bai materialized, they were nearly perfect, possessing great might. When the 2 forces clashed, the 9 swords buzzed and trembled. The battle was incredibly intense. However, the eyes of the 2, everyone's eyes, were fixated on the white wings at all times. Suddenly, an old man leaped out of a restriction at the side, wanting to take advantage of the chaos to reap the benefit. While both sides were fighting excitedly, this old man used a defensive secret treasure and easily caught up to the wings. A look of joy flashed in his eyes as he reached out to grab them. Boom! Both sides stopped fighting at the same time. Immediately, all sorts of heaven-ranked martial techniques and king-grade secret treasures attacked like a gushing waterfall. The old man did not even have time to say a word. The king-grade secret treasure protecting the old man shattered, and his physical body exploded into a scarlet light. The death sword formation blew and swallowed up the old man's life essence. Both sides were old monsters who had lived for hundreds of years. They had long since gained intelligence and knew that they had been in the inner palace for some time. They knew that in this inner palace, someone would jump out and take advantage of the situation. Now that the battle had reached this point, naturally, neither side wanted such a thing to happen. If someone jumped out to take advantage of the situation, both sides would definitely work together to crush that person. When Lord Jiu saw this, his heart thumped heavily. He was flabbergasted. A Grandmaster-level martial sage who can summon wind and rain outside died just like that. This is really cruel. Fortunately, this Lord Jiu did not charge in earlier. Xiao Chen's expression turned grave. He also found this somewhat problematic. Unless it was a great Grandmaster-level martial sage or an equal number of people, it would be very difficult to jump in and snatch the treasures. It was not easy to reap the benefits, especially before a group of intelligent old monsters. If one was not careful, one would die without a complete corpse, consigned to eternal damnation. Brother Xiao, let's go and try our luck in there. The earlier death of a Grandmaster-level martial sage had frightened Lord Jiu. However, Xiao Chen shook his head and did not say anything. If he could not clear the stage before him, how could he gain anything by going further in? There were a total of 10 strong restrictions in the inner palace. The competition in each one was extremely intense. Looking at the dried corpses littering the sword formation in front, one could easily imagine what kind of massacre the demonic brilliant two elders had gone through to survive until now. Going forward, the surviving Grandmaster-level martial sages were definitely no weaker than the demonic brilliant two elders. They might even be stronger. Buzz, buzz, buzz. Another intense clash took place in the formation. The demon-subduing Vajra roared ferociously, and its staff swept out in all directions like a mountain, smashing the flames and hurricanes until Wei Wei trembled. The 9 swords vibrated violently once again. They buzzed and emitted a terrifying black sword chi. Now! Xiao Chen narrowed his eyes and punched, shattering the restrictions around him. Then, he stepped on an electric light and soared into the sky. Xiao Chen's target was not the White Wings but the king of the sword formation, the Black Death sword that commanded the other 8 swords. As Xiao Chen charged at the sword, he only glanced at the White Wings on the other side and ignored them. By the time the others noticed him, Xiao Chen's right hand had already grasped the sword hilt firmly. Xiao Chen, a white figure with fluttering long hair and a blue Neptune headscarf on his forehead, appeared. His facial features were delicate and handsome. The demonic brilliant two elders immediately recognized Xiao Chen due to his familiar attire. Overwhelming rage and murderous intent immediately blazed in their eyes. When the middle-aged man saw Xiao Chen holding the Black Death sword, he laughed loudly and said, "What an idiot! The death chi in this sword can instantly drain all cultivators, aside from those of the ghost race and corpse race, into dried corpses." When the hemp-robed old man saw Xiao Chen appear, a murderous intent surged. He wanted to toss aside Meng Bai and eliminate Xiao Chen. However, when the hemp-robed old man saw Xiao Chen recklessly grasping the death sword's hilt, he immediately smiled coldly and stopped moving. He is Xiao Chen. The Black Mountain 4 bandits stopped at the same time and looked at this famous person of the Kunlun realm, the descendant of the Qing Emperor who would be conferred king in half a year. When their gazes fell on the immortal spirit ring on Xiao Chen's left hand, they all revealed greedy gazes. As they sized up Xiao Chen, they felt that he was a human-shaped treasure trove. Everyone in the world knew that the 3 holy masters did not support Xiao Chen. Now that they killed Xiao Chen, not only could they obtain the treasures on him, but they could also use his head to claim rewards from the various sections. They could also raise their own prestige. Just think about it. If news of killing the descendant of the Qing Emperor spread, how glorious would that be? We, the Black Mountain Four bandits, will be taking his head. Meng Bai smiled. The sinister and ugly demon vanquishing Vajra behind him also revealed a horrifying smile.